another edition of a live commentary. Full race live commentary for the NASCAR Cup Series today live on the channel. It is the Pennzoil 400, and it is taking place at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. This is the third race of the NASCAR Cup Series 2022 season, and we will be covering it live on the channel today. As you see the raw feed on your screen right then and there, that will be the... Oh, okay, it'll be on your screen very shortly. I had to refresh the page, and it bumped me out of it. Hang on. There we go. Now we're cooking. And we'll go through today's starting lineup here in a very short bit. Oh, jeez. I'll actually be right back. I'm back. Had some technical difficulty, so I stated in the Santiago Kid, welcome to the stream as well. First time in the chat, it looks like. Welcome everybody to the stream. I had to run downstairs real quick. I'm using my mom's phone for the live commentary of the race today to see the chat at least while I'm commentating the race, because otherwise I have no ability to, because I left my phone charger at my work yesterday and I don't go back to work until Tuesday. I'll probably stop by tomorrow and get it. I didn't have time today to do that though, with this live commentary of the race being in the afternoon and having to get everything prepared and ready to go for the start of it. But we are here, and I do have the chat on as of right now, hopefully. Just waiting on more of you guys to chat during the course of it, because she doesn't actually have like a channel, so I wouldn't be able to chat in the actual stream today. Let me check this just to make sure. Yep, okay, we're good. National Anthem just concluded. I kind of missed it when I was running downstairs. Was that Beyonce that did the National Anthem? It looked like it. I had no clue she was doing it today. Think I need a V8. Could have had a V8. Yeah, probably. I don't know if you guys saw in the camera either, but I have my pajama I have my pajama pants on as I got up. I was planning on being sitting the whole time, that wouldn't end up actually happening, but then I realized I had to get up and go downstairs real quick. But I got locked out of her phone, and I didn't know the passcode, so I had to go down and get that situated. But we're good now. Patrick Chatterley, welcome to the stream as well. Should fly a banner Keegan Schneider commentary greater than Danica Patrick. Hashtag hire Keegan. Is that possible? Yeah, they always have those like helicopters that are tracing like whatever signage that they have. That's what we should do there. Saw my pajamas. Yeah, the plaid pants. The classic plaid pajama pants. Hey, they're very comfy. I almost changed into shorts anyway. I'm not going anywhere today, though, because it's super windy outside. It's warm, though. I have a fan here in case it gets too warm during the race. Fox currently on a commercial right now. They still have yet to give the command. We'll go through today's starting lineup and race statistics before this one gets underway. Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson will be on the front row. Kyle Larson was fastest in practice yesterday. He is the defending winner of the Spring Las Vegas race. And for Christopher Bell, his first career pole in the NASCAR Cup Series. Austin Cindric, our 2022 Daytona 500 winner, will be inside of row 2 with Chase Briscoe, the defending Rookie of the Year, to his outside. Chase Elliott and Joey Logano will line up in row number 3. Logano, a two-time Las Vegas winner. Chase Elliott looking for his first win at this track. Tyler Reddick and Denny Hamlin will be in row 4. Hamlin won the fall race last season at Las Vegas, and for Tyler Reddick, he finished in his career best race at Las Vegas in the spring last season in 6th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Austin Dillon will round out the top 10. Austin Dillon was fast enough to qualify in the top 10 yesterday, finished second a week ago at Auto Club, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has been fast on the intermediates to start this season. Ryan Blaney and Martin Truex Jr. will be in row number 6. Ryan Blaney close to winning this race in 2020. Caution came out with 2 laps to go, taking him out of a shot to win when he decided to pit from the lead. Was never able to get the track position back on that final overtime restart. Martin Truex Jr., a former winner at this track himself. Alex Bowman and William Byron will line up in row number 7. Byron was my preseason prediction to win this race today. Alex Bowman came also close to getting that second place finish before the caution late in 2020 as well. Bubba Wallace and Ross Chastain, a couple of younger drivers, will line up in row number 9 today. Ross Chastain with a new team looking for his first top 10 with that team, and Bubba Wallace looking for his second top 10 this year. He was a runner-up at the Daytona 500 a couple weeks ago. Rookie Harrison Burt will line up inside of row number 10 with Eric Almirola to his outside. Almirola, 2 top 10s in the first 2 races this year, the only driver in the Cup Series to do so. Daniel Suarez and Michael McDowell will line up in row number 11. It'll be Daniel Suarez, who finished 4th last week at Auto Club after leading coming to the line with 3 laps to go. We'll see how he'll do today. Michael McDowell, of course, another defending Daytona 500 winner in the lineup. Eric Jones and Cole Custer will line up in the next row behind those guys. Custer's ran good on the intermediates so far this season, at least at Auto Club. He won the Xfinity race last weekend. We'll see what he can do on the Cup side this weekend. And for Eric Jones, he also ran well, was top 3 all last week at Auto Club, ended up finishing there as well in 3rd. Kevin Harvick and Greg Biffle, a couple of former veterans and now returning to the sport for Biffle's sake. And then Kevin Harvick, a veteran that is currently in the sport, never left, but maybe on his way out here in the recent years, will line up further back behind those guys in row number 13. Greg Biffle making his second start of the season. Kevin Harvick coming in off a top 10 at Auto Club last week. Chris Busch or Justin Haley will line up in row number 14. Haley has had a couple of good runs this year. Chris Buescher, a former Cup Series winner. He won the dual race at Daytona earlier this season as well. Corey LaJoie and Todd Gilliland. Gilliland, another rookie in the field. Corey LaJoie trying to get his first top 10 of the season. They'll be in row number 15. In row number 16, it'll be Kurt Busch and Ty Dillon. Kurt Busch was on our Don't Haves list this weekend. We'll see how he can do at his home track. Cody Ware and Josh Bilicki will line up in row number 17 today. In row number 18, it'll be B.J. McLeod, Garrett Smithley. And then rounding out the field will be Kyle Busch, who wrecked in practice and has to start at the rear of the field. We'll get to watch Wild Thing do his thing coming from the tail. I have an immense regret for not watching your pre-race instead of Fox's. That's okay. It wasn't that bad. I didn't get to watch the Fox pre-race because we were doing a pre-race of our own. They have fired the engine, though, and we will be set to go. And I'm sure when Fox comes back from the commercial break, the cars will be on the track getting ready to go green as we are minutes away from the drop of the green flag for the Pennzoil 400. 267 laps around this 1.5-mile racetrack, 400 miles. Scheduled pit window, usually at least, again, the pit windows could vary more this year because it's a new car, but compared to years past, right around 60 to 65 laps would be the field window here at Las Vegas. They will have to pit at least one time in each of the 3 stages today. Those 3 stages are split up 80, 80, and 107 to make up the 267 lap distance, excuse me. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you are watching right now. The race is on the main Fox network this weekend as well. This is our first points race we'll be doing live commentary for this year, but we did do live commentary for the Busch Clash, including the pre-race festivities with the qualification races, the last chance races, as well as the main event race itself. We topped out at nearly 200 people watching that stream, so we'll see what we can do throughout the course of today's race. Can you say your lineup now? Go right ahead. Yeah, we're into this. I'm not sure if the fantasy lineups have locked out or not. Also, because my phone is dead, you will see before the end of Stage 2, I'm going to look at my fantasy lineup, making the last adjustments during the stream. That's the only time we're going to cut away from the live leaderboard. Just a fair warning. Any driver interviews that will come today, we will also get to show you guys those driver interviews. Enter the stages if anybody DNFs and they interview them from the garage area as well. It's been a wild start to the 2022 season. We'll see what Vegas will bring today. This weekend's events with the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series have been wild to say the least. A lot of action in both races. A last lap pass in the truck race on Friday night. And then yesterday, Ty Gibbs goes on to win his 5th career Xfinity Series race as well. Ooh. There we go. Almost put my controller too far away. I was going to need this to unmute the TV when it comes time for those interviews. No use for a name. Welcome to the stream. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are just getting underway. Fox is back from their commercial break. The pace car is rolling off of the pit lane, and Christopher Bell will be leading the field to the green here shortly. Wow, interesting fact as well, the Fox just dropped is that no driver has led 100 laps in the first 2 races that have been ran so far this season. Tyler Reddick has led the most so far with 90. Coming into this race today, he's going to be one of those favorites. We'll go over the predictions quickly that we had in the pre-race predictions before the start of this live stream. AP Sports, welcome to the stream as well. He's a Truex fan for today, it looks like. Maybe all the time, I don't know. Drivers that are sleeper picks, dark horse picks for this weekend that I expect to run well, at bare minimum get a top 10 would be Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick. Reddick, obviously the hottest driver, in my opinion, in the Cup Series so far this season. You can tell he is due for a good finish. And then Christopher Bell starting on the pole was fast in practice as well. And he had a top 10 in the spring race here last season. Reddick also had a top 10 in the fall race at Las Vegas last year. Kyle Larson, Joey Logano, and Ryan Blaney were the must-have picks this weekend. Again, bare minimum top 10 for them. But those are the drivers I expect to run well and potentially compete for the win. Kyle Larson and being my race win pick for this weekend. My preseason race win pick was William Byron. So we'll keep an eye on him as well today. And the drivers I expect not to run well, not get a top 10 finish at the end of the day would be Kurt Busch in the 45 for 2311 Racing. And Eric Almirola, he'll finish outside the top 10 for the first time this season, at least by my predictions. Danica Patrick announces in the booth. Does she know about racing? She's a good commentator, though. I'll give her that. Not in the SRX series last year, but that's only because she didn't know the rules of the SRX series. She was kind of confused whenever something like the Fun Flag or something would come out. She was entirely confused. Even though that's not really in the rules, so I guess I would have been confused too. But she's not a bad commentator. Yeah, not a great NASCAR driver, but we'll see what she can do in the booth today. I was just joking. Some people aren't joking when they, go on hot takes like that on social media. Don't worry, we're all friendly here. I'll put statements into question from time to time, but I don't berate people for statements they make. Even the haters. Fox going through their starting lineup right now. 2 more laps and we will get the green flag to start this race. The crowd looks pretty full. It was kind of bare bones for the Xfinity and the truck race this weekend, but it has filled in pretty quick for the Cup race. Good to see. The Daytona 500 sold out, probably 95% capacity plus last weekend at Auto Club for both of those races. I was there in person for both. This is the first points race I'm going to be watching on my TV this weekend, but again, going to be giving you guys the live commentary. We'll also be doing live commentary for the Cup Series race next weekend at Phoenix as well. So just the Cup race again next week, but we'll be doing live commentary at Phoenix. How are the Toyotas so far this season? They are probably the third of the 3 manufacturers, if I had to say, based off of consistency and how they've been running from start to finish in the races. The Fords are definitely the clear favorite, but there's been a couple of the Chevys that have been outstanding, like Larson. Elliott's ran pretty well. Both the RCR cars of Austin Dillon and Tyler Reddick have had good runs, but Ford has been pretty dominant as a whole, especially Penske. Almirola, again, has 2 top 10s also. We've seen Briscoe run well last week. Eric Jones looked really strong last week, too. Be fun to watch a good old-fashioned Ford versus Chevrolet battle throughout the course of the season for the manufacturer title. Team made Reddick's right leg numb yesterday instead of his left. I did not know about that. I was unable to actually watch practice of qualifying. I had to go back and just kind of see clips of it on YouTube yesterday because I was at work. That's the unfortunate side with working Saturdays. I was able to watch it last week, but that's because I was at the track. Same thing with Daytona. I was at the track, so I wasn't at the track for both actual qualifying and practice events. But I was on my way there and was able to at least watch and or listen. Going to start watching for Briscoe's in-car cameras. Alright. And this is going to be a little delayed compared to that, especially with that being the live onboard cam. But thanks for everybody tuning in. This is a bold prediction, but let's try to get 100 likes on the stream today. We had almost 200 people watching our Busch Clash live commentary race. We'll see how many we'll get today, and maybe we'll set a stream record. You never know. I don't think so, considering this isn't like a playoff race or a crown jewel event like we tend to pull in the bigger viewers, but we'll see. At Daytona for that motocross race, how was it? Ford has won 6 of the last 8 spring Vegas races as well. Considering that Ford has been very dominant this year, we'll have to see how they will run collectively. Three drivers each getting 2 wins in those 6 races. Kevin Harvick with 2, and the 2 Penske drivers at the time at least of Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano. Also with 2 wins in those last 8 races at Las Vegas in the spring. Correction on the race analysis with the stages. Stage 1 is 80 laps, Stage 2 is 85 laps, and then the final stage is 102, so they have adjusted that compared to years past. The second stage will be 5 laps longer, making the final stage 5 laps shorter than the last 4 years that we have been having stage racing on the mile and a half for the Cup Series. GP Labs is roasting Fox again. Priscilla, welcome to the stream. Here in Africa visiting my wife. Hope to get to watch the race here. Missed the first 2 races of the season. Well, hey, welcome into the stream. We'll have the live commentary for you here on the channel. The race is on the main Fox network. You want to listen to my commentary and mute the race. If Danica and Boyer get off on random tangents throughout the course of the race, you don't like their commentary, you have mine today. I wish them the best of luck, though. Yep, new tires have just 1 single lug nut. The tires themselves are bigger. Again, you guys might be ahead of me in the chat just a little bit, only because YouTube is delayed as well, briefly, between what I'm saying in the chat. And then also I am on Hulu, so there's a little bit of a delay. Might be a lap or 2 behind if you are watching on TV, so if you have to maybe rewind it 30 to 60 seconds to get right on point commentary, you'll have to do so. So I'll try not to look at the commentary itself during the actual race coverage, but during commercials and during any sort of caution or stage break, I will definitely be looking at the chat as much as I possibly can. But I'd like to welcome all of you in for this race. This is our second of 2022, but it's our first points race we'll be doing live commentary for this year. Still 20 more to go following this one today. Pace car is already on pit road. Christopher Bell will lead him into the Geico restart zone, and we are underway in the Pennzoil 400. Green flag is upon us. Christopher Bell getting a massive push on the inside line from rookie Austin Cindric as they barrel down into turns 1 and 2. A little loose getting into the outer lane was Chase Briscoe pulling out of line with Ryan Blaney, and Joey Logano tucked right behind him. Logano, rather, was the main car. Tucked behind him, big contact on the backstretch. Logano had a massive run into turn 3, gets into the back of the 9, which shot himself into the 2 of Cindric, and luckily they didn't wreck there because they stacked up nearly big time. And Logano loses all that momentum and finds himself 3 wide middle between Stenhouse and Hamlin on the front stretch heading into turns 1 and 2 as he tries to hold his own in the middle lane. I'm not sure if Cindric had gotten checked up. I think Logano just had a massive run and mistimed his jump to the inside on Elliott and ran right into the back of the 9. Christopher Bell was able to lead lap 1. Kyle Larson closes quickly off the exit of turn 4, running a bit higher line. Bell hooked to the bottom. Larson went to the middle that time. And as they head into turn 1, it's Larson already on the back bumper of the 20. Cindric trying to hold on for third with Chase Briscoe on the outside of him for position. Elliott and Logano battle side by side behind him for 5th. Cindric pulling away from a potential side draft on Briscoe, but Briscoe has already cleared the 2 of Cindric as Cindric starts to slowly fall backwards, kind of like he did at the beginning of last week's race at Auto Club as well with a good qualifying effort. Cindric was 18th in practice yesterday, but had a lot more speed in qualifying, so maybe that car is more on the trimmed out side of things to get the track position early on. Cindric gets loose up the track in turns 1 and 2 and nearly cleans out the 9 of Chase Elliott. Big wiggle and a great save. Fox on their replay showing a big save from Kyle Larson as he wiggled in turns 1 and 2 just a couple laps prior to that. Lost some ground on the 20 of Bell. Logano gets around Elliott through 3 and 4, who also had a wiggle of his own, and he will lose not only the spot to Logano, but Hamlin will also get by the 9 of Elliott. USHA Fashion Jewelry Manufacturers, welcome to the stream. My prediction to win the race today is Kyle Larson. King Booger 94, welcome to the stream. Spoiling. Who knows who's going to win, dude? Yeah, those are just predictions. My prediction is Kyle Larson. Christopher Bell, though, is pulling Larson after Larson's miniature mistake and slip-up a couple laps ago. Currently, it's a 1.15 second lead at the start-finish line that last time by, as we're already on lap number 7. We got 80 laps in the opening stage. They will have to pit in each of the 3 stages today. Likely going to see the field split it in half or right around there. Maybe a couple cars that might be on the tail end of the lead lap will try to catch a caution by staying out as long as they can. The nice thing with practice and qualifying returning is there are no competition cautions unless practice or qualifying were to get rained out the day before the actual Cup race itself. But we have not had that yet this year, so they will race through lap 20 to 30 where we would usually see the competition cautions fly, and we will get to see the full strategy play out in the opening stage throughout the races this season. Jamie Little radioing in about some potential issues on Denny Hamlin, that his car kept shutting off and shutting on the pace laps as they were about to go green. The car looked strong early on. He just made a slide job maneuver pass on Chase Briscoe, barely clearing him off the exit of turn 2 as Briscoe might have cut him a little bit of slack. Those two have a bit of a history. Had a bit of a run in late last season in the regular season at the Indianapolis road course. Hamlin not cutting him any slack with that early aggressive move, but he was able to clear him for 4th. Ryan Blaney charging from the 11th starting spot, already up 6 positions. He as well will get by Briscoe and move inside the top 5 Blaney now running behind Hamlin in the 5th position. Chase Elliott has already fallen outside the top 10 and is back to 12th after qualifying and starting inside row number 3 in the 5th position. And has probably dropped the most spots outside of Cindric, who started in front of him in 3rd. He's already back to 8th. But Elliott's slipping a little bit further back in the early going. Elliott definitely seems to be struggling with the corner exit to his car. Just watching on the screen myself, it definitely looks like he is maybe on the tight side of things. You really see the car moving around off the exit of the corner, but as they pan now to race leader Christopher Bell, on the other hand, he was a lot smoother off the exit of turn 2, and that smoothness is paying in perfectly for Bell early on as he has led the first 12 laps of the race. Fox on a commercial break right now. We'll take a rundown order of the running order itself. Here in Stage 1, Christopher Bell is the leader by 1.9 seconds back to 2nd place. Joey Logano, who got around Larson right before the break. Larson is currently in 3rd. Denny Hamlin would be 4th, and Ryan Blaney rounds out the top 5. Alex Bowman in 6th early on. Chase Briscoe in 7th. Austin Cindric 8th. William Byron 9th. Ross Chastain rounds out the top 10. Chastain already up 9 positions from the start of the race. Martin Truex Jr. and Chase Elliott will be 11th and 12th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 13th. Michael McDowell 14th. Austin Dillon rounds out the top 15. Daniel Suarez 16th. Kevin Harvick up 8 spots from the start to 17th. Brad Keselowski 18th. Tyler Reddick back to 19th after starting in 7th. And then Eric Jones rounds out the top 20. Harrison Burton 21st. Justin Haley 22nd. Eric Almirola 23rd. Daniel Hamrick 24th. Kurt Busch up to 25th. Chris Buescher 26th, Cole Custer 27th, Kyle Busch from last place starting spot up to 28th, Todd Gilliland, the rookie, back at 29th, and Corey LaJoie will round out the top 30. You can see the top 30 on our screen, live on the channel as it is, and listen to the commentary along the way. Up to 10 likes right now. Again, like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. What do the verses in fantasy do? I'm new to that. You have to pick. So in your fantasy lineup, you should be able to pick which driver is going to finish better between the two it shows on the verses, and those are bonus points. So if you get them correct, it's worth 10 points each. Yeah, again, if you are not already tuned, or not already, I guess, logged into NASCAR Fantasy, you can do so in the NASCAR mobile app or website. You can also search for KRC League, KRC in all caps, capital L on League. That is our league here on the YouTube channel. And you have a chance to win 2 tickets to any NASCAR race of your choosing in 2023 if you win either the regular season or the playoff championship. If you haven't played yet, you're not going to win the regular season title, but you could still qualify for the playoffs and win that title at season end. Fox is back on lap 16. Bell has expanded that lead even more during the commercial break, now to 2 seconds over Joey Logano in 2nd. Good battle for 2nd place, 3 wide into turns 3 and 4, nearly at least. Logano on the outside, Larson trying to run the middle, and Hamlin on the bottom. Logano pulls him a bit as now it's Hamlin and Larson side by side through the tri-oval, side drafting one another as they are battling for 3rd. Blaney closing in from behind quickly with that battle heating up. Larson sliding up the track a bit too much in turns 1 and 2. Hamlin gripping the bottom well and will pull clear off the exit of turn 2 for 3rd. And Hamlin has his eyes set now on Logano, potentially trying to move inside the top 2. Blaney on the charge as well to the inside of Larson through 3 and 4. And clear off the exit of turn 4. Slide job of his own. Blaney now up to the 4th spot. He has 5 fifth-place finishes at this racetrack, 8 top 10s in his 11 career starts for Blaney. One of the favorites today as well. Don't mind stage racing, hate the cautions. I would have to agree with you, really, with that. Fuel window, according to Larry McReynolds, is 58 to 62 laps. I said 60 to 65. That was just based off of the Gen 6 car. I don't have the next gen analysis or like we would have with years past with a more current car. This one being new. I don't know a lot of the fuel windows, so it's up to Larry McReynolds this season to figure that out for me. Denny Hamlin slides to the inside of Joey Logano off the exit of turn 2. A big-time side draft, getting the 22 a little out of shape as well before pulling to the bottom again in turn 3. And Hamlin easily clears Logano for second. Now Logano trying to defend on a fellow teammate, Ryan Blaney, both supporting Pennzoil paint schemes for this Pennzoil 400. Blaney went to the bottom. Logano blocked it. Lost some momentum for Blaney. Now Larson to the inside in turns 1 and 2. He slides up the racetrack, but he is not clear and has to stay down low on the inside, hugging the white line. And now Bowman is in the picture as well. So a great 4-car battle for third place heating up. Bowman to the inside of Larson after Larson had a failed attempt to pass Ryan Blaney. And Bowman will slide in line back behind the 5 on the front stretch. Blaney again drafting behind Logano on the front stretch. Pulls to the bottom into turns 1 and 2. Hooks the white line. Logano this time, instead of going to the bottom, goes to the middle lane. Blaney clear off the exit of turn 2 and up to P3. Again, the top 10 so far in stage number 1 on lap 22 would be Christopher Bell, P1, Denny Hamlin, 2nd, Ryan Blaney, 3rd, Kyle Larson, 4th, Alex Bowman rounding out the top 5, Joey Logano in 6th, Chase Briscoe, 7th, Austin Cindric in 8th, Martin Truex Jr. up to 9th, and Byron just got passed by Truex. He's now back to 10th. Couple lap cars at the rear of the field now going a lap down of Garrett Smithley, BJ McLeod, Josh Bilicki now as well this time by will go a lap down. So just getting to the rear of the field with those back marker cars as we are so far green flag through the first 23 completed laps. Denny Hamlin is slowly reeling in his teammate Christopher Bell. Bell was about 2 seconds even ahead of Joey Logano, but when Logano got passed by Denny Hamlin, Hamlin now has reeled it in to within about 1.8 seconds off the lead from his teammate. Hamlin won here in the fall last season, trying to go back-to-back at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway today. Bowman, meanwhile, off-screen has just passed Kyle Larson for 4th place and is quickly pulling away from him. He's got about a half a second on Larson. So Larson, after qualifying on the front row, has dropped a few spots, maybe struggling on the long run a bit. And Bowman is the highest running Hendrick Chevrolet. All 4 Hendrick Chevys in the top 12. Bowman 4th, Larson 5th, Byron 10th, and Elliott 12th. Kevin Harvick up to 14th, I should say, after qualifying and starting 23rd, so 9 spots gained now. He was outside the top 20 in both practice and qualifying yesterday, but maybe they've got the car dialed in for the race today. A little bit warmer conditions compared to what practice and qualifying were yesterday, but fairly similar for the most part. Maybe a little less wind as well. Martin Truex Jr. also on the move. Passed Cindric and Briscoe in the last couple laps to move up to 7th. So outside of Kyle Busch, who had to start last after going to a backup car wrecking in practice yesterday and was not able to qualify that backup car due to wrecking in practice, he's the only one outside the top 10 of the 4 JGR Toyotas. In fact, he's the only one outside the top 7 of the JGR Toyotas as they run 1-2 still with Bell and Hamlin. And now, never mind, Ryan Blaney, again off screen, is just taking 2nd place away from Denny Hamlin. Again, still about 1.8 to 1.9 seconds off the race lead. This is the first points race I've seen of Fox's broadcast this year, and I will say that's a couple swaps inside the top 5 in position we've seen since the commercial break, or I should say that have happened since the commercial break, and Fox has not shown it. Blaney just passed Hamlin for 2nd, and then Bowman got around Larson a few laps ago for 4th. Larson is really dropping back. Interval-wise, he is 5 seconds off the race lead now. And after Bowman passed him just a few laps ago, Bowman's already 2 seconds ahead of Larson in 4th. Truex moving up position every lap. He was 11th, now he's 6th, yep. Up to 6th. Fox also missed that on the, on the board. They showed him making a pass for 8th place, but yeah, now he's up to 6th. So a lot of the drivers that qualified more towards the front, excluding Christopher Bell, the leader, are starting to drop back slowly throughout the course of the race, and the drivers that maybe qualified right around 8th to 10th on back have moved themselves inside the top 5 and at the top of the pecking order. You can definitely tell what cars were maybe more trimmed out than others. Christopher Bell with the clean air advantage maybe and a little bit more help, leading this race 2.5 seconds ahead. Good battle for second. Hamlin gets right back around Blaney on the outside through turns 1 and 2. Blaney falls in line back behind him after taking the spot away a couple laps ago. I wonder if lap traffic might have been dictating of that. And as they battle hard back and forth for second, Blaney again to the inside, Hamlin to the outside, and they run side by side through the tri-oval. Blaney takes the shortcut down to the apron now on the tri-oval front stretch. Awkward angle into turn 1 for the 12 as he hooks the white line and will slide up the racetrack clear of Hamlin off of turn 2. Hamlin trying to build the momentum up off the top, but he is unable to do so enough. And now we have a caution at lap 31 somewhere on the racetrack. Oh, there is a competition caution. Why is there a competition yellow? I had no clue there was supposed to be a competition caution today. Sorry for that false information earlier. But the comp yellow is out, so I guess we'll be seeing pit stops right now. This should be able to take them to the end on fuel to the end of the race. Why is there... What's the point of a competition caution if they have practice and qualifying? Like, the only time they ever had competition yellows, you know, prior to COVID was because there was no practice or qualifying. I don't know. I see you guys in the chat are upset about it as well. Tire wear monitoring. It's racing, man. It's racing. I think that's a cover-up for Fox trying to air more ads during non-green flag action. But that's just me personally. That's a conspiracy theory, I will admit. But it seems legit. Well, we're about to have the entire field come into the pits now. Free pass going to go to Greg Biffle in the 44 car. He was the first car 1 lap down at the timing of the competition caution. In the 34th position was the Biff. He qualified in 24th for today's race. So there's Christopher Bell leading the entire lead lap field onto pit road. He will have that number 1 pit box. We'll see how much of an advantage it will take here. I would imagine everybody will be taking 4 tires during this first stop of the day. I really like Joey Logano's pit crew uniforms. It looks very, like, 80s and 90s-esque. For those of you watching on television. Ryan Blaney's crew struggled with pit stops last weekend, was losing consistently on average 6 spots. We'll see if they got that fixed today, and it looks like they do. Ryan Blaney will win the race off of pit road, a huge improvement from last week under the first stop today at Auto Club. Denny Hamlin comes out second. Bell, who had that first pit box, will lose 2 spots in third. Ross Chastain, the big mover on pit road, he is up now to 5th, gaining 5 spots on pit road during the caution. Patricia Times, Cars One Boy, welcome to the stream. Guess who commented? Yeah, Danica Patrick commentating on the race today. Where am I in fantasy? I have no clue. I'm not going to be able to check it throughout the race because my phone's dead. I will check it once during the live stream at the end of stage 2 to make sure my lineup is full. So you guys are going to see that on my laptop because that's the only way I can get in. It's the procedures that NASCAR failed to implement. Knew that the tires go flat easier during spins. I don't know what that has to do really with the competition caution. I mean, the tire wear is going to be, different at every track. So, I mean, unless it's a short-term fix for that. But at the same time, I don't know what difference that makes having the competition caution at lap 30. Because we're going to have a long run, presumably, at some point anyway. Whether it's to start the race or maybe at the start of stage 2, we go, say, caution-free through the entire second stage. We're going to have an 80-lap run. So that's what I don't understand with the competition caution, what difference that really makes. Mike Morgan, welcome to the stream. Racing teams should pick their tire brand. I don't know about that. Last time we had a tire war, no, really any time we've had a tire war, at least in NASCAR, it has been a little bit on the ugly side of things. The tire manufacturers come so inclined. We're trying to get as many teams as they can under their wing, and they're more worried about that than what they would be the safety aspects of the car, and ran into a lot of driver injuries there in the early 90s and the late 80s with accidents. And I know it's a safer time in the sport than what it was in the late 80s and early 90s, but if you look just 2 nights ago in the Truck Series, there was a last lap crash in that Truck Series race where Spencer Boyd dislocated his shoulder. Drivers could still get hurt. Drivers still get hurt in accidents. I mean, it was just 7 years ago now, Kyle Busch had a compound break in his leg. Denny Hamlin broke his back 8 years ago at Fontana. Those are, major incidents where we've seen injuries. Ryan Newman 2 years ago in the 500, big one. Muhammad Aden, welcome to the stream. Might be Aiden. Muhammad Aden, welcome to the stream. 22 people watching right now. Like, share, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Currently at lap 34 under the competition caution. So looked on the replay that Christopher Bell had spun the tires coming out of his pit box. His crew itself was about 9/10 of a second slower than Ryan Blaney as well. Total time, Blaney on the pit stop between the launch in and out of the box as well as the pit crew itself was 7/10 of a second faster than Christopher Bell, leading Blaney up a spot to go from second to first. Mo would be fine. All right, well, welcome, Mo. Ryan Blaney will pick the inside lane, which is where Christopher Bell was on the initial start of the race as well. Bowman will be in line on the inside behind Blaney. 2 JGR teammates of Hamlin and Bell on the outside. Green flag back in the air at Las Vegas. Blaney gets the launch and he's clear into turns 1 and 2 without a fight from the 11 of Hamlin initially at least. Joey Logano will take it 3 wide to the outside on Chastain, and Byron off the exit of turn 2. Bell slides up in front of the 22 of Logano, will get a push down the backstretch now as they head into turn 3. Chastain's still sandwiched in the middle, though, between the 24 and the 22 before Byron pulls clear on the inside. Bell has to lift in a weird spot in the center of the corner right in front of Byron. Byron now to the inside of the 20, while Logano had to back up behind Bell. Blaney leads that lap at the start-finish line, his first lap led of the race under green flag conditions. Remember, Bell led every lap leading to the competition caution. The loss of spots on pit road has now put him back to 4th. Bowman gets around Hamlin a lap after the restart and now is trying to attack Blaney for the lead. These two ran 1-2 2 years ago in 2020 in the spring race towards the end. Both had great shots to win. For a late caution, dictated a bad finish for both of them when they came into the pits and the entire rest of the field had stayed out, leading to that overtime restart. Bowman tried the outside a corner ago, could not get around Blaney. This time he tries the inside and again is not able to get around the 12, who has stayed in the middle. Car around off turn 2. Trouble for Cole Custer. He has flat spotted the right rear tire in the middle of the spin. He's trying to keep the tires going so he doesn't get stuck. Cole Custer trying to break free and get the car back to pit road after it looked like a self-spin off the exit of turn 2. His right rear tire is flat. Not a lot of damage on the race car, if any damage at all. Looked like it just slipped out from underneath him. He was running in the middle groove in turns 1 and 2 and slid right in front of both Todd Gilliland and Kyle Larson. Wallace had to go down to the apron of the racetrack off the exit of turn 2 just to miss the spinning Custer, but everybody in the field was able to miss him. Custer was able to keep the car rolling to keep from sitting on the backstretch and have to wait for the safety team to come and push him into the pits. He may still lose a lap by the time he limps the car to pit road, and they have to change that right rear tire depending on how much time it's going to take for the crew to jack the car up, which will be interesting to watch. Custer was running just outside the top 20 at the time of his spin. Yeah, there's definitely damage around the right rear tire. But they have jacked the car up pretty quick. They are working on the right rear as the pace car is coming around to put Custer a lap down. They're not going to be able to get that tire on the car in time, it looks like. Take a look at our leaderboard. And I guess Custer is still on the lead lap, at least according to our scoring right here on the channel, using the raw feed on the NASCAR website. Kyle hit the wall. Kyle Busch. He is back in 30th again, so maybe he did get in the wall. I didn't see anything on the initial spin. Was it trying to miss the 41? I didn't see a good angle of the replay on what might have happened to Busch. But he is back to 30th place, so something obviously happened. Bowman was hunting down Ryan Blaney for the lead after quickly getting around Hamlin as well, so maybe a good timing caution there for Blaney. I would imagine most of the field is going to stay out, only 2 laps on their tires, unlike last week at Auto Club where there was a ton of tire wear. Now, there is still quite a bit of tire wear at Vegas, but I think they need to go at least closer to that 5 to 10 lap mark at bare minimum before we would end up seeing pit stops after a caution, especially early in the race. Maybe going to conserve those sets of tires, however many they have here. $15 likes on the stream right now. Trying to get to 100 before the end of the race today. That is the goal. We'll see if we can break any stream records today as well with people watching this stream. We had almost 200 watching the Busch Clash live commentary a couple weeks ago. Our stream record was last year's Talladega playoff race for the NASCAR Cup Series. When we did live commentary there, we had over 360 people watching that stream. So appreciate all you guys that come out and watch these live commentary live streams, all in the hope of one day hopefully getting into the booth down the road. That is what this YouTube channel is all about. And I'm giving you guys the entertainment both with the real races and video game races in the live commentary aspect throughout the course of the week as well. We'll be having a post-race live stream following this one. It'll be on a separate stream whenever this race comes to an end, probably within those first 10 to 15 minutes after the fact. We'll talk all things that happened during this Pennzoil 400 at Las Vegas, the fallout from the race, and much more. And tomorrow we will be having a highlight video from this race today of my commentary and matching it up with the best and must-see moments from today's race. It'll be uploaded on the channel tomorrow. Did something like that for the Busch Clash at the start of the season, and then do the race highlight videos from the grandstands on the races I go to, like we had with the Daytona 500. All the races through Speed Weeks, in fact, and then the Cup race last weekend at Auto Club as well. So again, this is the second caution of the race. A 77 of Josh Bilicki gets the free pass after the Cole Custer spin, bringing out the yellow at lap 37. That was after a couple laps after the restart to the competition caution that we had moments before that. Shouldn't be a lengthy cleanup here with Custer being able to get back to pit road. He didn't really shed any debris of the tire or the car as well. He had a little bit of damage around the right rear, but I don't believe he shedded any debris. So we should be going green here very soon. You have to imagine Ryan Blaney has elected the inside lane once again for this restart, or will when they get to the choose cone if they haven't already. Yeti Cup Series, welcome to the stream as well. I'm doing great. Hopefully you are as well. Really didn't see it. Yeah, they're talking about Busch coming into the pits just to make sure that he didn't have a tire down after getting into the wall, but according to Jamie Little, one of the pit reporters for Fox, had stated that they were just coming down for safety precautions, making sure they weren't going to have that tire go down after the contact. So more of a safety precautional thing for why Busch will lose his track position here. Blaney on the inside will be Alex Bowman on the outside into the Geico restart zone. The two JGR Toyotas of Hamlin and Truex behind him. Green flag is in the air. Hamlin gives a big push to Ryan Blaney. We'll see if Bowman can keep pace, though, on the top. So far, so good. Big move down to the apron back behind. Bell gets put 3 wide middle with Chastain going to the apron after they cross the start-finish line. A 3 wide pass for Chastain to get into 5th. Trouble at the back of the pack. Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch have gone around, and we will have, I believe, another caution. Justin Haley also spins in that accident. So a 3-car spin immediately on the restarted turns 1 and 2 involving Justin Haley, Kyle Busch, and Austin Dillon. It didn't look like many of those cars had damage. We'll see if everybody else was able to miss them as well. So caution comes out immediately following the restart. Delmo Lopez, welcome to the stream. Chevy fan, it looks like. So Austin Dillon took it 3 wide and then shuffled up the racetrack. Looked like he got a little tight. And that was what wiped out the 31 of Justin Haley. And then Kyle Busch went for a slide after he got hit from behind from, I believe, Daniel Hamrick in the 16. No, Hamrick was in... Oh, yeah, it would have been. Never mind. Yeah, I believe it was Hamrick that got into the back of Busch. He hit him pretty square, and that's what set the 18 around after Busch had saw the spin happen in front of him. He checked up. Hamrick was unaware of it happening at the moment. So, maybe risk of flat spotting the tires for any one of those 3 that spun. They will definitely be on pit road. I would imagine the rest of the field will probably stay out once again. Not much damage right around the 3 or the 31 after their contact, which started the spin. And after the second replay now, yes, Kyle Busch did get contact from Daniel Hamrick, which spun him around in the stack-up after the caution flag was in the air. Jace99 Goaty, welcome to the stream. That was a good save. They weren't up to speed yet either, so it might have made the save a lot better, or the save probability a lot higher for those 3 drivers that spun there. The worst issue, though, might have been for Daniel Hamrick in the 16. He was the car that ran into the back of Kyle Busch. As already mentioned, they are under the hood of his car as he is in the pit lane right now. May have put a hole in the radiator with that hard hit to the back of the 18. They might be checking out a safety precaution just to make sure. Hamrick had a great deal of mechanical issues last week at Auto Club, but was still able to rally from as many as 6 laps down at one point in the race to finishing 9th place in the top 10 with all the cautions we had last weekend. Already 3 in stage 1 today. The competition caution, single car spin for Cole Custer a couple laps after the restart, and then this 3-car spin involving Justin Haley, Austin Dillon, and Kyle Busch, and then obviously Hamrick would have been involved with his front bumper to the back of the 18. So no major damage for the 3 cars that spun. Hamrick, though, the one who got into the back of the 18 causing Busch to spin, is the one and probably has the most damage of any. Hamrick not racing for points in the Cup Series, but that car itself for Kaulig Racing is going for the owner points. AJ Allmendinger will be running part-time in that car this year, as well as Noah Gragson throughout the course of this 2022 Cup Series season. Kevin Harvick is already inside the top 10. He's up to 9th place all of a sudden after starting 23rd. He is the biggest mover from the get-go of this one. Austin Cindric, after starting 3rd, is back to 14th. Chase Elliott started 5th. He's back to 10th. Appreciate the comment, Yeti. Yep, indeed. Like and subscribe. Share with your friends and family. Appreciate the support that you guys are giving me just in this stream alone today. Already 28 people watching as we are in stage 1, lap 46. Still 221 laps to go under the caution again for the 3rd time today. Kyle screwed today. Well, the problem is, too, you got to figure for Kyle Busch. He has been towards the back because of these last couple restarts because he did not have any qualifying yesterday. He didn't have qualifying because he had crashed his primary car in practice, had to go to a backup car, so already starting behind the 8 ball in that aspect today and being put back in traffic with the next-gen car and with the fact that every time we go to a track for the first time this year with this car, it's going to be a new test for all these teams. And you want that track position. Qualifying is going to matter this year. And when you're put back in the middle or the back of the pack on these restarts, which could be chaotic in any form of NASCAR racing. I mean, you can go back to probably the 70s. They had crazy restarts for their time as well. Last thing you want to do is be in the middle of where all the action is taking place. Yep, Bowman's doing really well early on. He was scored ahead of Ryan Blaney when the caution had waved. They were side by side on the restart. Bowman had just a good enough launch to maybe not be able to clear Blaney off the exit of turn 2. They were probably going to be side by side down the backstretch, but he had the bumper in front at the last scoring loop from when the caution had come out, allowing Alex Bowman now to have the first choice of whether he will restart on the top or bottom. Bell and Blaney both on the inside for all their restarts, but Bowman was able to at least get to the lead, not with the full car, but get to the lead on the outside somewhat when the caution waved, so maybe he'll go to the top again. Be interesting to see. Still only about 3 green flag laps on these guys' tires, so they all stay out of the pits, except for those that were involved in the spin. Pace car will pull into the pits now, and as they head to the Geico restart zone, Bowman is on the inside lane, Blaney on the outside, and the Joe Gibbs Toyotas of Truex and Hamlin behind him once again. Green flag is in the air at Las Vegas, 33 laps to go in stage 1. Blaney hanging on the outside of Bowman. Up the middle, 3 wide goes Austin Cindric towards the middle of the pack, in between the 14 and it looks like the 17. The 6 rather, Keselowski. 3 wide, nearly up the middle goes Truex. Shaking around everywhere as he tries to find hole between the 12 and the 11. Now he's on the bottom lane. Alex Bowman is fully clear off the exit turn 4 of Blaney this time, and Bowman will lead his first green flag lap of the race today. 3 different leaders in the opening stage. Bell led up until the competition caution. Blaney led through the first couple restarts, and now Bowman leads here at Las Vegas. 2 and 3 wide back in the pack as they continue to battle on the restarts. Byron up multiple positions from this restart, going to the outside of Ross Chastain to make the pass for 5th, and he is in the top 5 for the first time today. Christopher Bell trying to work himself back forward, dealing with traffic still for the first time after losing a couple spots on pit road was the reason he lost the lead. Blaney with a gigantic run off turn 2. The 48 checked up, and here comes the 11 of Hamlin, 3 wide for the lead into turn 3. And Denny Hamlin has it now. Blaney slides off the exit of turn 4 into 2nd, trying to hang on to his car. That's going to give the 48 of Bowman a run on him into turn 1. Cars are moving around a ton here at Vegas. Bowman on the inside, Blaney defending on the outside, and will hold clear of Bowman off the exit of turn 2. Byron in the middle of that battle for the lead was able to get past Truex for 4th place. Truex battles Chastain for 5th. An aggressive move worked out for Denny Hamlin, making a 3-wide dive bomb pass for the lead in turn 3 a lap and a half ago on Ryan Blaney and Alex Bowman after Bowman had made a mistake off the exit of turn 2, given that gigantic run to both the 12 and an even bigger run for the 11. Bowman trying to hold his fast teammate of William Byron back behind him as well. Chase Elliott is inside the top 10 once again, battling Joey Logano currently for 8th. Kurt Busch, after starting outside the top 30 today, is now up to 10th. In fact, actually started 29th with a couple drivers dropping to the back at the start of the race. Qualified 31st, but started 29th. And he's inside the top 10. He was one of the drivers not to have in your fantasy lineups today for the predictions video. We'll see how that will fare throughout the course of the race. Still early on in this one. Take a quick rundown of the drivers at the top of the pecking order right now. Denny Hamlin leads at lap 54. Ryan Blaney currently in P2. Alex Bowman 3rd. William Byron 4th. Martin Truex Jr. rounds out the top 5. Ross Chastain in 6th. In 7th place is pole sitter Christopher Bell. Chase Elliott, NASCAR's most popular driver, in 8th. Kurt Busch 9th from starting towards the back. And Kyle Larson, who started on the front row, is back to the 10th position early in the going. Side-by-side battle currently for 6th between Ross Chastain and Christopher Bell. And as they battle back and forth, Chase Elliott closes down them for the battle for 6th place, making it a 3-car battle. Chastain down to the bottom. Bell has to lift in the middle of the corner running behind him. Elliott didn't have to lift. He had a far enough gap back behind Bell, and he's now on the inside on the backstretch. Hanging on the left rear corner panel, trying to side draft him and potentially make a move into turn 3. And as he does that, Fox will cut to a commercial break. So unfortunately, we are going to have to calm down with the live commentary of things until Fox comes back from their commercial break today. Again, we just had a rundown of the top 10. You can look at the rundown of the top 30 on your screen throughout the course of today's race. And thanks for everybody tuning in. Up to 38 people watching, 19 likes on the stream. Smash the like button. I know all of you have not. Do that. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Greatly appreciate it as always. You guys love the live commentary, live streams. I'm here to deliver. I love commentating the actual race for you guys as well. And when you guys are entertained by this stuff and communicating down in the chat, it makes me feel great and gracious for the opportunity to do this. It's amazing what the internet is capable of. Never would have thought this would have been feasible, growing up. All in the hopes of hopefully one day getting in the booth down the road. Every subscriber goes a long way in doing that. Looking at the intervals still during the actual commercial break, we have 21 laps to go as they run in stage 1. The stage break will be at lap 80. They're at lap 59 currently. Denny Hamlin has a 1.2 second lead over Ryan Blaney and a 1.4 second lead over his teammate in 3rd place, Martin Truex Jr. Drivers who are probably impressing more so than what I would have thought at the start of the race, definitely Kurt Busch up to 10th early on. Kevin Harvick as well up to 11th place. Those guys both started outside the top 20. Drivers who maybe aren't impressing, at least early in the race compared to their qualifying spot, would be Kyle Larson, who is back to 9th place after starting on the front row. And then Austin Cindric, who started in 3rd, is back to 15th. Maybe their cars were maybe more on the trimmed out side of things. It does seem like Larson tends to struggle on the longer run like we saw at the start of the race. He didn't have the greatest restart that last time around. Lost a couple more positions as well, putting himself further back in traffic. Kyle ain't there today, so go Bills, son. Hey, it's a long race. Kyle Busch could definitely still make his way up there. If there's anybody in the field that could do it. Kyle Busch is definitely one of those few drivers. Larson trying to find a little bit of momentum. He's slowly working his way up. Nobody's running the outside near the wall like we might have seen in years past. And I think a lot of it has to do with the parts shortage, maybe with this next-gen car. The unpredictability of the next-gen car with how much harder it is to handle than the Gen 6, not only with the high downforce package, but it seems like for these drivers that drove it even during the low downforce package era on the intermediates, it's even tougher to drive than that as well, with the lack of downforce. So drivers not really taking a major risk early trying to go up near the wall. Drivers that have probably gone up near the wall the most would be Larson and Bell. No surprise there. Bell running just a bit higher than Larson is right now until we get into turns 3 and 4 that time. Larson was actually near the wall running the outside lane here in turns 1 and 2. So these drivers, as the laps wear on in this race, and with every growing lap on any track with the next-gen car, they're only going to be more and more comfortable and more familiar with how the car is going to react on what line they run, what the conditions are on the racetrack, whether it's sunny, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's cloudy. Potentially in the rain if we see any rain races on the road courses this year like we did at COTA last season. Lisa Rogers, welcome to the stream as well. 17 laps to go in the stage. And caution, trouble on the front stretch. Tyler Reddick has gone around. One of the sleeper picks today. Likely had the spin off the exit of turn 4. He slides through the infield grass on the front stretch. And luckily, with this car sitting much higher than the Gen 6 or the car of tomorrow, he does not damage the splitter. And we'll slide it into the pit lane. Reddick was up on the outside lane, did a great job keeping it off the wall, and that is the risk with running the top. So a single car spin for Tyler Reddick. Wasn't running quite as well as where he was in practice or where he even qualified. Maybe, again, his car was more on the trimmed out side of things. A lot of people expected good things out of Reddick this weekend, including myself, with the runs he has had on tracks with the next-gen car already and being the Busch Clash, as well as the race last week at Auto Club where he led 90 laps and won the first 2 stages of the race. Wouldn't have imagined this when I was young. Yeah, I didn't when I was young, and I was a 2000s kid. The splitter maybe not the main issue with the slide through the grass for Tyler Reddick, but the underbody of the race car maybe where the damage could take place, but I'm sure that A-Team will take a good look at it. Enough laps on these guys' tires now. They will pit for 4 fresh Goodyears. One car stays out. Kurt Busch will stay out of the pits. Everybody else presumably will come in. I think I saw Austin Dillon also stay out, although he took tires in his spin in the last caution. So very few drivers stay out. Most of the field will come into pit. We'll restart with right around 10 laps to go in the stage, where business is going to definitely pick up on the next restart. For the teams that are on pit road, most of which, at least that were towards the front, will be taking 4 tires. Ryan Blaney not as fast as what he was on his first stop of the day. In fact, it'll be a 2-tire stop, which will get Eric Alberola off of pit road, but everybody else behind him will end up taking 4. Byron up 2 spots. Denny Hamlin will lose 5 spots on pit road. Truex loses 4. Those were the big losers in the top 10. And Blaney's looking good so far. His pit crew is doing a lot better than what they were last week, so I'm happy about that. They cost him a chance at a top 5 last week. I mean, he was top 5 all day when he wasn't restarting outside the top 5. He would go in running like 3rd through 6th, like all day. He'd go into the pits 3rd to 6th place, and then he would come out of the pits outside the top 10 majority of the time. And then he'd work his way back up to 3rd to 6th. They get another caution, they'd pit again, and then he'd fall back. But here today, he gained a spot on pit road to win the race off of the pit lane the first time. This time, he didn't gain any spots, but he's neutral. He goes in first or second, comes out second. And actually, if you think about it, the drivers that took 4 tires, Blaney gained 1 spot on pit road. The only reason he didn't win the race out of the pits is because Almirola took 2. So way to go for that 12 team cleaning up the pit crew. Of course, I'm a Ryan Blaney fan, as you guys see behind me with the flag. I'm wearing the Blaney merchandise with the hat, the Menards pit crew shirt. So if he wins, I will be super ecstatic. I'll call the race down the middle, but as soon as that checkered flag flies and he wins, that'd be amazing. Now, we did some live streams on the channel last year. We only did 12 races. In those 12 races, Ryan Blaney did not win any one of those. He won 3 races that I did off stream. But this year, the races I will not be going to in person, I will be commentating, most of them at least. I think there's only like 3 or 4 races that I will not be commentating nor going to the race because I'll be watching it at my grandparents' house those weekends. But excluding those, we'll be covering the rest of the races this year, one way or another, whether it's at the track or not. Next week, we will be doing live commentary of the race at Phoenix. Starting it when Fox's race coverage goes on the air, we'll be doing a predictions live stream again next week, just like we did this week, as well as the post-race. 40 people watching right now. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Smash the like button, everybody. We got 22 likes on the stream so far. I may have to get up at the end of stage 1 so I can find a phone charger for this phone. But we'll wait until then. I have 17% right now, so I'll wait till the end of the first stage. I don't want to miss the action as much as you guys. Derek Booth, welcome to the stream as well. Seen some new faces, some original faces. Lisa's from Missouri. Yeah, Kurt, I think there was a couple other cars that stayed out of the pits. It looks like, according... I forgot, though. We have a leaderboard here. Kurt Busch stayed out of the pits. Corey LaJoie stayed out of the pits. Cole Custer also stayed out of the pits. And then Eric Almirola took 2 tires. So everybody from 4th on back on the restart will have 4 tires. Almirola has 2. And everybody else, the top 3 at least, will have old tires on the restart. Tire wear matters. Not only because it's the next-gen car, but even in years past at Las Vegas, tires matter. Looks like a penalty for the 19 team, an uncontrolled tire. It was the right front tire that actually rolled all the way into the 17's pit box and impeded with Buescher's pit stop, making it for a slow time for them. So Buescher will lose a bunch of spots, and Truex will have to restart at the rear of the field. So much worse than just the 4 spots he would have lost otherwise. 12 laps to go in stage 1 as they head to the Geico restart zone. Kurt Busch will lead the field to the green. He'll be on the inside, Corey LaJoie on the outside. And the field on Hungary, fresh tires behind him. Big block on the outside, back in the pack for the 20 of Bell on top of the 1 of Chastain. Kurt Busch has the launch, and he'll have the lead off the exit of turn 2. Almirola in second with the 2 tires. Byron on the first car on 4 tires up to third. 3, 4 wide into turn 3. Back in the pack between Custer, Stenhouse, Kyle Busch, and Suarez. Nearly some contact as Jones about ran into the back of the 47. Kurt Busch hanging on for dear life. Byron is up to second on Almirola, but Busch on the old tires is going to be a sitting duck. Busch to the bottom, Byron to the outside. William Byron for the lead off of turn 2. Busch slides. Almirola splits him 3 wide. And Almirola now on the inside of the 24. Side-drafting him on the backstretch as they head into turn 3. Couple other Hendrick Chevrolets right behind Byron of both Bowman and Chase Elliott. Scrambling 3 wide again as LaJoie and Busch start to fall back in the pack on their old tires. Big risk and a big gamble not paying off for the teams that took upon themselves to stay out on old tires. dropping like a rock on the restart as expected. Almirola, who took 2 tires, is still inside the top 10 and is back to 4th as it's 1, 2, 3 for Hendrick Motorsports, Byron, Bowman, and Elliott. 6 different leaders already in the opening stage of today's race. 3 and nearly 4 wide again as Kurt Busch gets hauled around by Kyle Busch, and Briscoe. I think about 5 cars passed Kurt Busch in turns 1 and 2 that last lap. Byron has a half a second lead over Alex Bowman, and another half a second behind Bowman is Elliott in 3rd. Chastain holding on to 4th place currently. Almirola in 5th with Hamlin and Blaney behind him. Blaney on the outside of Denny Hamlin for 6th place as they are side by side off the exit of the corner. Kevin Harvick closing with a big run off the outside behind him. Harvick goes to the bottom. Didn't have a big enough run to take it 3 wide. Blaney going all the way near the wall on the outside, being very risky with his run. Hamlin slows up the 12 of Blaney and nearly gets into him off the exit of turn 2. An aggressive block, forcing the 12 car to lift before running, either getting pitched into the wall or running into the back of the 11. And not only Hamlin gets around the 12, but so does Kevin Harvick as well as Kyle Larson. Almirola loses more spots. He's 3 wide middle off the exit of turn 4 with Harvick and Larson around him. Blaney makes it 4 wide off the exit of the corner. Now Blaney takes the shortcut down to the apron on the front stretch to get back around the 4 of Harvick. Larson escapes through that middle lane to move up to 6th. Crazy battles in the back half of the top 10 for all the stage points they could possibly get here over the next 6 laps before the stage comes to an end. Chevrolet's run through the top 4. Kyle Busch is a madman right now, making daring moves since the restart, and all of a sudden, he will make a pass on Bell for 10th place. He was at the back just moments ago, and he is charging forward and is in position now to get stage points. Bell's still trying to battle back on Busch. He failed to get to the inside of him in turns 3 and 4 and has to sit behind him on the front stretch. Busch is working the outside lane to near perfection as he has a run now on the 4 of Harvick for position. At the front of the field, the battle for the playoff point thickens. 3 laps to go at the line, this time by. Byron on the inside holds on to the lead. Bowman, who has looked fast from the get-go, is behind him in 2nd. Bowman makes a move to the inside at the start-finish line. 4.5 miles to go to the green-white checkered flag, the first of which this afternoon. And Bowman is going to be clear easily off the exit of turn 2. He ran the outside through 3 and 4 while Bowman was on the bottom. That gave that huge extra run off the banking on the front stretch. Byron did not go down to block. He played it smart, and Bowman was able to clear him with ease on the other end of the track in 1 and 2. Same thing will apply in the battle for 3rd between Chastain and Elliott. It'll be Chastain to the outside, Elliott to the bottom, giving Chastain a run to the inside of Elliott into turns 1 and 2. He'll try to slide up off the exit of turn 2, and he should be able to clear Elliott. As he does, Elliott going to try the undercut crossover move, but he's unable to get the run to get back to the inside of the 1 into turn 3. Coming to the final lap of stage 1, the 48 is already pulled about 4 to 5 car lengths ahead of William Byron and continues to pull off of turn 4. Final lap, Alex Bowman looking for his first stage win and first playoff point of the 2022 Cup Series season. Oh, big block. Busch nearly gets into the wall. Chase Briscoe throwing a mad block in the tri-oval on him for 8th place. Saw some dusting fly up. I'm not sure if he actually made contact with the wall or not. Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott now battling side by side for 4th in the final corner. Hamlin's going to be clear off of turn 4. Green-white checkered flag is in the air. It'll be Alex Bowman taking stage number 1, getting his first playoff point of the young season. William Byron will finish 2nd. Ross Chastain will be 3rd. Denny Hamlin 4th. Chase Elliott rounds out the top 5 in Stage 1. Kyle Larson 6th, Ryan Blaney 7th, Chase Briscoe 8th, Kyle Busch 9th, and Christopher Bell will round out the top 10 in Stage 1. Didn't see the block. I saw the block. They had like a camera angle of the field just kind of zooming by into turn 1 towards the end of the front stretch, and I saw the 18 nearly get into the wall. The 14 cut right across him in the middle of that camera angle. I'm not sure if he got in the wall or not. It was close if he didn't. "44 people watching. Thanks for everybody tuning in this Sunday afternoon. Live commentary of the real race here today. NASCAR 21 Ignition returns to the channel tomorrow night for the next live stream at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will be our 11th race of the season, and it will be at the Kansas Speedway for the Bushy McBusch Race 400. That's our final season on that side of things. Live realistic commentary like you're seeing for the real race today during the video game live streams during the week as well. We'll be seeing pit stops, I'm sure, again during the stage break. They'll update the stage points in the fantasy lineup for those of you playing the NASCAR fantasy game. Sometime before the start of Stage 2. You have until the end of Stage 2 to lock in your starting 5 for today's race. You can join on the fantasy portion of things on the NASCAR mobile app or website. Go to Fantasy, sign up with your email. It is free to join. Chance to win 2 tickets to any NASCAR race if you're choosing the 2023. Our current champion and regular to the channel, Inside Uranus, won the regular season championship last year. I won the playoff championship, but he won the regular season title, and he got the opportunity for tickets, and he chose Auto Club this last year, so he was at the race last weekend. So it is real. Other than being in the league, the only other thing you have to do to be entered in is be a subscriber of the channel as well, like he is. Still waiting on Fox to come back from the commercial on my end. It's crazy how, like, bare it is around the racetrack at Vegas. In the high above view. Little contact between Chase Briscoe and Kyle Busch, and I think a lot of that had to do with Busch and Briscoe. Yeah, so they're going to show the replay now, it looks like, between Busch and Briscoe. And Kyle Busch is upset with Chase Briscoe. I thought I saw Briscoe throw a block on Busch and nearly pinch him into the wall. And Kyle Busch is obviously upset with the young driver of the 14, showing his displeasures with a little Rubbins Racing on the final lap of the opening stage, as well as a little bump in turns 1 and 2 after the stage came to an end. So a little bit of a feud in the Xfinity race yesterday between Ty Gibbs and Ryan Sieg, and looks like we already have a little bit of an issue between 2 drivers in the Cup race today. Drivers coming on to tack on 4 fresh tires. I'm sure everybody will take 4 after seeing the drivers who only took 2 tires on the pit stop before that drop like a rock to the back of the field. And, well, never mind. In the process of saying that, it'll be Brad Keselowski who will win the race off of pit road, gaining 12 positions after taking just 2 tires, but everybody else behind him will take 4. Almirola, who took 2 tires on the last restart, was unable to even stay inside the top 10 for stage points at the end of stage 2 in those final 12 laps after that restart. So it's interesting to see Keselowski do it. I would have expected nobody to do it this time. Gonna dial up Alex Bowman now. You guys will get to hear the interview live on the channel.
down, gaining the $2,000 a lap for your boss man to send to Ukrainians. So thank you for that. And how are you going to get these spots back?
Yeah, we've had some decent restarts so far today, so hopefully more than that. But I think we just have a really good long-run ally Camaro today. So Greg and the guys have done a really good job. Obviously, lead laps for everything that's going on over in Ukraine's a good deal for us today. Raising as much money as we can with every lap left. So hopefully do some more of that and go home with a trophy later.
All right, buddy. Good luck. Your hot rod's fast.
Thanks, man.
That was Alex Bowman during the Stage 1 break as Clint Boyer dialed him up. In-car cameras are very laggy today. Well, that's unfortunate to hear. Still shows I'm at 0 points for the moment. Well, are you looking at the league standings? Because those points aren't going to show until the race is over. And usually it's a few hours after the race is over because they have to go through tech inspection before you get your points there. It's not going to show your points in the league standings until after the race. What equipment do you need for live streams like you do? So when I'm streaming off the PlayStation, whether it's the PS2 or the PS4, I use an Elgato game capture card, HD 60 Plus and an HD 60. I have two different ones because only one's compatible for my PS2. And then for this stream, for instance, I literally just have my laptop. I'll have the raw feed with the display capture on OBS to show you guys the live scoring, and then I'm watching the race on TV commentating to you guys. I also have Hulu on another tab on my laptop so I can listen to the actual broadcast for anything that happens throughout the course of it. By the way, I love that Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano commercial with the save at the pump. I need to do that anytime I go to the gas station. I saved at the pump! The pump! From a funny commercial to a weird one where we see some lady with her hand up a puppet's rear and a grown man talking to that puppet. That's my best way to describe that last commercial. I didn't even see what the commercial or the advertisement was for. I didn't need to know any more in detail. This is the kind of content, the action you get during the commercial and the ad breaks during the live commentary portion of the races on a somewhat weekly basis. And I say somewhat because the races I go to in person, covering the race at the track, I will not be doing the live commentary for, but races like this weekend, we'll be doing live commentary again next weekend, and then I'll be at the track at Atlanta at the end of the month. So those are the next 3 weekends as far as the outlook. And I believe I'll be doing the CODA live stream from here. So live commentary, obviously, right now at Vegas. Live commentary next Sunday at Phoenix. Then I will be at the track for the Cup race only on the following Sunday at Atlanta. The week after that, I'll be back giving you guys the live commentary for the Cup race at CODA. As many as 50 people watching already. 25 likes. We're a quarter of the way there, and we're about a third of the way through the race to our goal of 100 likes by the end of this stream. I know we can do it. Yeah, Busch and Briscoe definitely feuding here early on. Kyle Busch's crew chief. I don't think that... So that block they showed on the restart from the 14 to the 18, that was not what Kyle Busch was upset about. There was a block in the tri-oval that I had seen where Briscoe had squeezed Busch nearly into the wall if Busch didn't already make contact with the wall. That is why they are upset. It's not because of the block on the restart. So I just want to clarify that because Fox went to the wrong replay cam. I don't think that's what Busch was upset about because that block on the restart was nothing different than what anybody else would do on a normal restart. Green flag is back in the air. Michael McDowell will actually restart from the lead. He picks the outside lane. He did not pit. Keselowski took 2 tires. Everybody else behind him on 4. Elliott gets stuck behind the 34 of Michael McDowell, which opens up a gap in the middle for Ross Chastain to jump into line. Keselowski tried to pull clear the 34 of McDowell, but realized he wasn't. So the 34 and the 6 are still side by side for the lead, with the entire pack of cars in the field sitting behind him. Hamlin and Chastain are side by side for second. Bowman and Elliott are sandwiched in the middle of all of that mess. Speaking of the middle, Ross Chastain up the middle 3 wide. Between Denny Hamlin and Michael McDowell as Brad Keselowski led that last lap at the line. Still 3 wide between Hamlin, Chastain, and McDowell's holding his own for now, at least on the outside. 3 wide even behind them between Briscoe, Kyle Busch, and William Byron also. Nearly contact between the 18 and the 14 off the exit of turn 4, allowing Ryan Blaney to get to the inside with their little bit of a checkup. They are packed together almost like the 550 package would lead to the field being packed together on restarts. And I think a lot of it was because of the drivers on older tires at the front of all of this. McDowell's finally starting to go backwards. Keselowski still has the clean air and the lead currently, with Denny Hamlin haunting him from behind. Hamlin to the inside. Keselowski runs the middle lane through turns 1 and 2. Hamlin trying to grip up off the exit of the corner as he will get to the inside. No, not that time. He'll sit behind him again. Keselowski goes to the bottom now. Hamlin to the middle. Keselowski wiggles. Hamlin to the outside. And he will motivate his way around the Fastenal 6 car of Brad Keselowski. Denny Hamlin will lead for the first time today at Las Vegas, trying to pick up where he left off at this track in the fall. Alex Bowman now also follows Hamlin, but this time will have to go to the inside to try and get around Brad Keselowski. Chastain, Byron right in behind Brad as well. Brad running the middle to upper groove, while pretty much the first 3 or 4 cars behind him run the bottom near the white line. Contact! Oh, Briscoe gets into the side of Suarez. Suarez gets turned head-on into the wall in the tri-oval. Caution is out again. Daniel Suarez has crashed on the front stretch. Briscoe got loose on the high side off the exit of turn 4, and then trying to gather it, he came across the bumper of another car, which knocked Briscoe into the right rear corner panel of the 99 of Suarez, and that turned him head-on into the outside wall. So Briscoe, actually it looked like he got squeezed by the 34. So the 34 had jumped up the track off the exit of turn 4 in front of Briscoe. Briscoe tried to check up. In doing so, he got sideways, and that's what led to him going down the track and clipping Suarez, turning Suarez head-on into the outside wall. It almost looked as if maybe even the 43 of Eric Jones was the car that got sideways. He was underneath the 34 of McDowell. McDowell could have jumped out of the gas because he saw the 43 slip up, and if that's the case... No, it didn't look like the 43 slowed up. I don't think the 43 gave the 34 any room, though. It definitely looked like he was sliding up, and because McDowell didn't get any room, that's why he lifted. So I think that's going to be the final verdict for my behalf, for my side of the story. The final verdict would be that Eric Jones had squeezed the 34. The 34 got a bit out of shape trying to check up to keep from getting squeezed into the wall. He checked up. The 14 was right behind him. He had nowhere to go, turned low, After getting loose off the exit of 4, clips Suarez. Suarez gets turned. So 6 stage points for Elliott. Is that right or wrong? Well, I mean, that means he was 5th at the end of this first stage. I'd have to go back and look. The scoring's accurate in the Fantasy League. Yeah, Waltrip and Truex napping. That was also funny. Like the Napa paint schemes, too. I've always liked the Napa paint schemes. Even Elliott's schemes have been pretty good in recent years, too. $55 people watching right now. Like, share, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Live commentary of today's Pennzoil 400 at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway is live on Fox, but I will be doing the live commentary obviously throughout this race. We did a pre-race beforehand as well. We will be doing a post-race after the fact. We'll break down everything that happened major-wise in today's race. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about the fallout of this race, how the fantasy team did, and how your guys' fantasy team will have done as well. For those of you playing in the Fantasy League. Appreciate all 55 of you tuning in right now. 27 likes. Still only have about half the likes of the people watching. Our goal is 100 by the end of this stream today. Think we can get there. Our season record for the most people watching the live commentary throughout the course of the year was at the Busch Clash, of course, the only one which we have done so far because I was at Daytona and at Auto Club the last couple weekends. But we did live commentary for the Busch Clash. We had over 180 people watching, so let's... who knows? Maybe we get to 200 today. We just hit 60. A little bit ahead of you. Suarez crashed on my end before it happened on your end. Yeah, it's going to happen. YouTube is a little bit delayed. And not only that, but I also watch on streaming platform on Hulu, which is if you're watching the race on cable television or even with an antenna, you're going to get your reception quicker than what I would get my reception. So it's going to cause a bit of a delay. So if you want to try to sync up the commentary with what's actually going on the track as well, you can just rewind it probably about a lap. At the most. That might even be too far, to be completely honest. Said like wrestling, Briscoe hits the elbow, yeah. From the top rope. Which driver in the Cup Series today would be the best professional wrestler? There's a good question for the chat. Both entertainment and in the ring, just like combined, overall, who would be the best? Honestly, I'd probably say Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is entertaining. I feel like he'd have the mic skills, and he's been in a couple tussles before. I think Kyle Busch should be the best. He is a 24/7 champion as well, so he's got experience. I think Kyle Busch should be the best. He would know how to pack on the heat from the crowd. Kanhodo, welcome to the stream. Good view of the accident for Daniel Suarez's visor cam. You could see everything happening in front of him with the 43 and the 34, and then that checkup led to Briscoe getting loose off turn 4, having to check up himself and turning down into the right rear, hooking the 99. We're at lap 98 when they hit the restart zone, which they are about to go green this time by. And we're on lap 17. It'll be lap 18 of 85 in stage 2. If you're just tuning in and may have missed the start of the race, Alex Bowman had won stage 1. Christopher Bell, who started on the pole, is currently back to 11th. Kyle Larson, who started on the front row, is in the back half of the top 10. I believe he was 6th at the end of stage 1. And coming to this restart, remember, Keselowski is still on those old left side tires, but fresh right side tires, while everybody else pitted for 4 tires. Nobody at the front of the field, at least, pit during this most recent caution. Green flag back in the air. Hamlin will elect the inside lane. Bowman on the outside. A lot more help from behind Hamlin as he gets a big push from the one of Ross Chastain, and that is going to allow him to pull clear. Blaney had to lift in the middle of turns 1 and 2 in the restart as a plethora of cars are going to get around him to the outside. Big block down the backstretch. Couldn't tell who it was, but somebody nearly ran into the side of the 43 of Jones. It almost caused another accident. Blaney and Larson splitting Chase Elliott 3 wide through turns 3 and 4 as they'll both make the pass on the 9. Elliott moves backwards a couple spots on the restart. Keselowski has to jump out of the throttle in the middle of the corner, extra with the lack of grip with the old left side tires, and that's going to stack up Larson and Truex behind him. Jones cuts across the front bumper and like a madman takes it 4 wide into turn 3. A gutsy move from Eric Jones to go 4 wide into the corner. And he is all over the 12 of Blaney and somehow made it through there cleanly. And I am shocked that he did not cause an accident with that crazy move. He was on the apron down the backstretch to make the move to the inside, causing an awkward angle into turn 3, but he still got the car to stick. And that was after Keselowski caused a jam session with Larson and Truex. Blaney was already on the inside, but Jones just completely took everybody's line away going to the bottom 4 wide. President Polk Productions, welcome to the stream. Lifelong NASCAR fan? Chastain. We got Lakers and One Nation, welcome to the stream as well. Welcome any new viewers who are just coming in at the beginning of stage 2. Here's the interview with Daniel Suarez.
I'm not sure what happened. I do know that the 14 clipped me in the right rear, but the reason why, I don't know. I know that the 34 was in front of him and he was struggling, but yeah. I don't know what to tell. I mean, he got loose and he clipped me. I mean, he didn't do it intentionally, but it was a hard one for sure.
Top break for Daniel Suarez. We talked to him last week, Mike, after finishing an impressive 4th.
Suarez' understanding of the situation of why the contact had occurred, but frustrated to say the least, following his early retirement to the Pennzoil 400 today at Las Vegas. Ross Chastain has had a great run, though, from the get-go and is up to 2nd place now. Currently, the top 10 would run Denny Hamlin in the lead by about a half a second over Ross Chastain. William Byron is in 3rd, Kyle Busch 4th, Alex Bowman rounds out the top 5. Martin Truex Jr. in 6th, Kyle Larson 7th, Brad Keselowski still hanging on with those 2 old left side tires in 8th, Ryan Blaney behind him in 9th, and Eric Jones rounds out the top 10. Trouble! Another spin off of turn 4. Keselowski has gone around. And there was a car behind him who I believe was Blaney, and I'm not sure if he hit him on the way down or not. We'll have to check out the replay, but we have another caution, our 7th of the race already. And yes, Blaney has heavy damage. I thought I saw him trying to move out of the way, and he did not get out of the way in time. And that is likely going to put an end to Ryan Blaney's day. Brad Keselowski has 2 flat right side tires after his spin as well. And it looked like Blaney was on the outside. Keselowski was on the bottom. So when Keselowski lost his car off the exit of turn 4, he slid up the banking of the racetrack, backed it into the outside wall. Blaney was there with nowhere to go. And that is going to end at least Ryan Blaney's day. He got the worst of the accident. Brad Keselowski's got some damage as well. Christopher Bell had to go down to the grass on the front stretch just to miss it. Cautions are breeding cautions in the middle of the race today. Brad Keselowski in the pit lane, trying to back it into his box to get the tires replaced, realizing he's probably not going to be able to limp that car all the way back around. Blaney has made his way around the racetrack, and he is leaking a great deal of fluid, and they're just going to back it right to the garage. There's a lot of fluid leaking out of the 12 car right now, and that's probably going to leave a lot of cleanup, I would have to assume, on the racetrack as well. Currently trying to jack up the 6 car of Keselowski with the 2 flat tires. It looks like the 14 of Chase Briscoe also has damage, though that might be from the contact he had with Daniel Suarez, the caution prior. So Ryan Blaney's day will definitely come to an end. Keselowski and his crew working on the car. Currently, they're under the damaged vehicle clock policy. All 3 races this year, Keselowski spun at least once. Twice in the first 2, and we are only just shy of halfway still in today's race. When we get to Ryan Blaney's interview after his retirement for the race, you guys will get the interview. At least get to listen to it. Noah Gragson versus Daniel Hamrick versus Kevin Harvick versus Kyle Busch versus Jeff Gordon, Martin Truex Jr. Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. I like that comment. I didn't see that. Yeah, Blaney's out. That's unfortunate. He was in the top 10. Had a fast car, and he was one of the must-haves, so that is going to be our first prediction of the race will be solidified. Ryan Blaney was a must-have. He was in my fantasy team, was probably many of your guys' fantasy team this week, and he will be done for the day after being collected in Keselowski's spin. Again, he was on the outside. Keselowski spun on the bottom and backed right up into Blaney with nowhere to go for the 12. He was probably unaware that the car even spun out underneath him until he got hit, because that's how quickly things happen at these speeds. We had 12 cautions all last week alone. We've had 7 in the first half of today's race. 1 car going to stay out of the pit lane. I believe it was Kyle Busch. Looks like another car further back also stays out of the pits, but for the most part, everybody will be coming in. Hamlin will lead the field into the pits. JK, welcome to the stream. We've seen a couple teams take 2 tires, but it hasn't really worked out, and we just saw Keselowski spin. He had those 2 old left side tires. Had to have upset the handling with the car, you'd have to imagine. Chase Briscoe wins the race off of pit road. He doesn't take any tires. Fuel only for Briscoe. Fuel only as well for Eric Almirola. 4 tires for everybody back to McDowell, who took 2 at 11. So I think some teams are trying to save the amount of tires they have to the end of the race, which is why Kyle Busch stayed out of the pits. Remember, he had also pitted earlier for a spin, so he was probably down 1 set of tires compared to most of the field. Now he's pretty much even with them. But a no-tire pit stop for Eric Almirola and Chase Briscoe. The drivers on old tires have gone straight backwards, and they've had troubles trying to hang on to the cars on these restarts. We'll see how this is going to improve or decline here. Most dislike is Brad K, Logano, and Cody Ware, the worst of all. Oh, jeez. Got a mixture. We seem to have a lot of Kyle Busch fans in the chat today. Kyle Busch is going to win the race. Woohoo. Welcome to the stream as well. He's had an interesting start, to say the least. Now he finds himself towards the front. You've got a better match. Noah Gragson would be the best MMA fighter maybe in all of NASCAR. Yeah, Bivell's still hanging around. On the lead lap somewhere. I believe every car that has not been involved in an accident is on the lead lap. Yes. All the way back to Garrett Smithley in 34th is still on the lead lap. Blaney's off the track. He's out of the race with that last accident. Then the caution before that, Daniel Suarez was taken out of the race. Brad Keselowski lost 2 laps trying to get his car repaired / the tires replaced on pit road as well. I can tell a lot of people probably aren't happy with Keselowski with how the season has started. He caused 2 accidents in the Daytona 500. He self-spun twice at Auto Club, and now he self-spun already today. But you had to imagine those 2 old left side tires played a big factor in that. And I'm shocked that we aren't seeing 4-tire stops every stop, especially every stop we've had so far. We've seen at least 1 or 2 drivers take 2 tires or even stay out of the pits, and it's just not paying off for them. And I wonder if this is going to be telling of the season with the intermediate tracks of having a lot of caution flags. Just with the great deal of cautions we had at Auto Club last week and now this week with Las Vegas. We go to a short track next week at Phoenix and then a new super speedway at Atlanta, road course at Coda. So it's going to be a while before we get to the next intermediate track yet this season. Great portion of the schedule coming up before we go to the next intermediate. I think the next intermediate would probably be Kansas in May, if I'm thinking correctly. Either Kansas in May or the All-Star race at Texas, one or the other. Be the next mile and a half or intermediate in general. Austin Dillon was that other car that stayed out of the pits. I thought I saw somebody back there. He also had to change tires earlier on because of a spin, much like Kyle Busch. So they're pretty much even on the tire strategy goes as far as how many tires they have left at the end of the race. But for right now, they're going to be at a disadvantage because they'll be restarting on old tires compared to most of the field. Almirola and Briscoe, both the Stewart-Haas cars lined up in row 2 behind them, also on old tires. They took fuel only during their stops. Everybody from row 3 on back has 4 fresh Goodyears. Green flag back in the air. Kyle Busch will lead the field to the green. He is on the inside. Austin Dillon will be on the outside. Logano takes it 3 wide down to the apron into the first turn under Chase Elliott and Bubba Wallace. Kurt Busch makes it 4 wide on the outside now. Loss of momentum. And speaking of loss of momentum, Austin Dillon going to go backwards. He has to jump out of the throttle off turn 2 as they scramble around him. Crazy restart so far today with the mixture of cars on old tires and fresh tires. Kyle Larson using that Larson line on the outside through 3 and 4, but gets held up by the one of Chastain in front of him. Hamlin stuck behind Almirola on older tires now in that bottom lane with nowhere to go as 3 Chevrolets are on his outside. Larson goes to the middle now, 3 wide up the gut. Between Almirola and Chastain as again he'll duck in line between Chastain and Elliott on the backstretch. Larson making aggressive moves since the restart, this most recent one at least. Very low exit to turn 4 as he now hugs the apron going through the tri-oval, trying to work his way around the 1. Both Chastain and Larson have closed in on Busch on the old tires. Busch in the middle, Chastain to the outside, Larson on the bottom. Still side by side for second as Larson and Chastain can't break away from one another. It's Busch holding on to the lead again into turn 3. Kyle Busch leads, Ross Chastain second, Kyle Larson in third, Chase Elliott fourth, Denny Hamlin rounds out the top 5. Busch's lead is only about a car length at the most. Ross Chastain to the bottom now for the lead into turn 1 and 2, side by side on the backstretch. Chastain does not side draft Busch that much. Stays away from him as they enter into turn 3. Kyle Busch to the outside is going to lose the lead off of turn 4 for the first time today. It's Ross Chastain for Trackhouse Racing who leads at Las Vegas. Kyle Busch also loses a spot to Larson that last lap. Larson to second and rides in line behind Chastain. Larson was my pick to win today's race. Finished 6th at the end of stage 1. Here's Ryan Blaney with Jamie Little.
was going out on his own. And I was running the top and went right into him. So, yeah, that sucks. Just lost right in front of us, I guess, and happy he's still running. We're sitting in here wrecked.
Another frustrated driver after an early retirement to the race. Still just shy of the halfway mark as we're exactly 19 laps. Shy of halfway, Larson gets sideways in turns 1 and 2. He tried to make a pass on Ross Chastain for the lead. Overdrove the car, barely keeps it off the wall, but he's going to lose about 4 or 5 positions now on the front stretch. Great save by Kyle Larson as we nearly had another accident, taking out another driver who has been running well all day so far. Great job to keep it off the one of Chastain as well, who was on his outside when they entered into turn 3. That's going to shuffle Denny Hamlin up to second, Busch to third, Bowman to fourth, and Byron now rounds out the top 5. Larson fell back to sixth before working the outside through turns 3 and 4 to get back around his teammate Byron for 5th place. Who's better, Bufflehead or Busch? Busch is better. Biffle's just in the race, right now at least. He was good in his career, but Kyle Busch is a 2-time champ. It's not even a fair question. Thanks for the comment as well, President Polk Productions, on the live commentary of the race. Appreciate it. Trying to give you guys the painted picture of what is going on. Means you can't physically see it on the channel. We have the telemetry, and we have at least my voice for the commentary of this race, and I'm doing the best I can. So Kyle Busch is actually holding on better than any other driver who has restarted on old tires at the front of the field. Busch is still in 4th, and I think that's a testament to how good of a car he has. He charged up through the rear of the field to the top 5 alone based off of how he ran, or I should say the top 10 based on how he ran in stage 1. And reminder, he is in a backup car. That's not even in his primary car, so who's to say how good even the primary car was for Busch coming into the weekend. Regardless of the fact, he is outperforming and exceeding expectations for as early in the race as well as he is running, as he is still holding on to a top 5 position in the running order. Larson got around him the last lap, and Truex is working on him now. He is slowly going backwards on the old tires, but not as quickly as everybody else who restarted on old tires, not just on that last restart, but all day today, like we saw from Kurt Busch and Keselowski, who was on 2 tires on earlier restarts. Denny Hamlin is about 0.8 of a second behind Chastain for the lead, but he seems to be closing since moving up to second place after Larson's mistake. Now down to 0.7 of a second as they work their way down the backstretch. Hamlin ran well before this string of cautions and was leading for a little bit before the strings of yellows here in stage 2. Oh, Busch almost in the wall off turn 4, letting it all hang out on the outside lane. Still carries a lot of speed to move to the inside of William Byron. Byron in the middle, Busch on the bottom. Christopher Bell will run that third lane on the outside near the wall. As Byron and Busch run side by side, Bell's just going to work with Byron, using the draft to the advantage to move past Kyle Busch that way on the backstretch. Fox going to a commercial break, but they'll stay side by side with the coverage, so we will keep the live commentary portion of this live stream continuing through the commercial and the ad break. We'll take a look at the running order in the meantime. Ross Chastain again with the lead. It's Denny Hamlin in 2nd place, Alex Bowman in 3rd, Kyle Larson 4th, and Martin Truex Jr. rounds out the top 5. Christopher Bell, the pole sitter, at 6th, William Byron 7th, Kyle Busch 8th, Chase Elliott 9th, Kevin Harvick, who started outside the top 20, rounds out the top 10. Kurt Busch also started towards the rear of the field, is in 11th. Eric Jones in 12th. Joey Logano in 13th. Bubba Wallace 14th. Chase Briscoe, who's in the top 10 early on, has faded back a little bit, is in 15th. Tyler Reddick in 16th. He had a spin earlier on in the day and hasn't really ran top 10 most of the day outside of qualifying there, is in 16th. Todd Gilliland, rookie, behind him in 17th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 18th. Another rookie who qualified well, Cindric, who started 3rd, is in 19th. Corey LaJoie rounds out the top 20. Eric Almirola, who restarted on old tires on this last restart, is back to 21st. Justin Haley, 22nd. Chris Buescher, 23rd. Austin Dillon back in 24th, also on old tires. Harrison Burton is going to round out the top 25. Cole Custer at 26, Michael McDowell 27, 28th is Ty Dillon, Cody Ware 29th, and Greg Biffle in the top 30. Daniel Hamrick in 31st, Josh Bilicki 32nd, BJ McLeod, last car in the lead lap, in 33rd. Garrett Smithley, first car, 1 lap down in 34th. Brad Keselowski, 3 laps down after damage from the last accident. And then the 2 cars out of the race in 36th and 37th are Ryan Blaney and Daniel Suarez after accidents here at Stage 2. Blaney scored stage points in Stage 1. Suarez, unfortunately, did not. So only 1 point for the finishing position for Daniel Suarez. Blaney was 7th at the end of the first stage. 100 people watching right now. Thanks for everybody tuning in. 36 likes. Smash the like button. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. The Q to 70. Welcome to the stream. Does any have Menards where they live? I do. I live in the Midwest, so Menards is pretty popular around where I'm at. I think the closest one to me is a little less than a half hour away. Probably like 20, 25 minutes away from where I live. Near Toledo. Haunted Hills Hayride, welcome to the stream. Doing a great job. Thank you. Appreciate it. Brian Sweet, welcome. Want to see the video. I can't show the actual race itself, but doing the best of my abilities with the commentary. NASCAR is back from the partial screen commercial break, now back to the full screen. Kyle Larson has just passed Alex Bowman when they came back from the break. On the outside, Christopher Bell gets loose behind him on the outside lane in 5th place. I couldn't tell if he kept it off the wall or not. When you run the outside lane, you run the higher risk of getting into the wall if you do have a slip-up like Bell just had, but I think he was still able to keep it off the wall, which is even more impressive. Then when Larson made his save a little earlier on in this tire stint, this green flag run on the restart, when he was on the bottom and had the entire track to try and save it. Bell coming a little bit off the wall now after that scare and ran the middle lane through 1 and 2 that time around. Martin Truex Jr. is close to his back bumper, keeping the battle on for 5th. A lot of the JGR cars look very fast today, all 4 of them in the top 8. Hendrick Motorsports as well looks well. All 4 of their cars are in the top 9. And the Ford's nowhere to be found, really, compared to the first couple races of the year with Blaney out, Keselowski having his problems. Highest running Ford currently is Kevin Harvick in 10th. And it's a Trackhouse Racing Ross Chastain who leads the field with 36 laps to go at Stage 2. We mentioned before the commercial break that Denny Hamlin was slowly closing in on him. Well, he still continues to slowly close in. The lead is down to about 3 to 4 car lengths as Chastain's about to work his way into lap traffic. At least some of the backmarker cars first and foremost. We didn't see any lap traffic hardly at all at Auto Club with the lack of green flag runs, and we haven't seen that yet today with the 7 cautions we have had in the first 131 laps. As far as how the predictions were before the race started, our must-haves of Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, and Kyle Larson, well, we just mentioned Blaney's out of the race. Logano isn't even in the top 10, struggling. Was not expecting that out of him today. And then Kyle Larson is having a good run in 3rd. Also had stage points at Stage 1. Finished in the 6th position in Stage 1. Riding in the 4 car to see the race and listening to you. Well, thanks. Appreciate it. We'll be doing more of these commentary live streams, so if you do like it, that's another reason to subscribe. We'll be doing this again next week at Phoenix. Any race pretty much I'm not going to in person, we'll be doing it. So I did this for the Busch Clash this year as well. And again, the Daytona 500 Auto Club I was at. So the only content I pretty much had was the highlight videos from the grandstands, which you can also go back and look Was at every race during Speed Weeks, and I was only at the Cup race last weekend. Any word on why Chase Elliott suddenly fell off the pace and spun? He's in 9th place right now. I haven't seen a spin yet. Trackhouse Racing owner Justin Marks with Jamie Little. Here's the interview.
What is this like for you in this new organization?
Well, I'm just proud of everybody. I mean, this is a big project, Trackhouse, and everybody that works for this company's bought into the promise I think that we have. So I hate it for Daniel and the Comscope team and the 99. Those guys are really getting
Trouble. Turn 2, Austin Cindric's around and he backs into the 21 of Harrison Burton. The 14 of Briscoe also turned in the mess. 3 Fords in an accident, and the Ford struggles at Las Vegas today continue. We'll see how this started. They were all running outside the top 15. Eric Almirola was behind the 2 of Cindric. Cindric on the outside maybe had a little bit more speed going into the corner than what he wanted. He had a bump draft from the 10 on the backstretch. So I think Cindric just kind of went into turn 3 a little too hot because of it. And he was already on the outside. The 14 spun in front of him. I'm not sure how the 14 car of Briscoe spun, but he spun in front of Cindric. And I almost wonder if Briscoe might have spun first, and then Cindric spun in the aftermath of Briscoe getting loose because he didn't want to hit him. We need a side-by-side camera of both of them spinning to see exactly when the timing of both spins were to be able to justify if that statement's correct. Harrison Burton got a piece of his left front taken out with the left rear of Cindric. Burt was also on the outside behind both cars that were already in the outside lane spinning. So another caution right as the leaders were getting into lap traffic. Yeah, Cindric was in my garage, unfortunately. He's going to go in for Blaney because he's probably still going to score more than Blaney. But, man, my fantasy team's taking another hit today. I can't catch a break this year, even when I'm at home and I can actually adjust my lineup. 30 laps to go at Stage 2. Pit stops are upon us once again, as they'll be able to make enough fuel to the end of the stage from here. There are a decent amount of cars that stayed out. Those might actually be the cars that were a lap down. Free pass going to go to Daniel Hamrick, by the way, with that caution. Pretty bad pit stop for Denny Hamlin. He had to back his car up just a little bit during that pit stop, and he is going to lose a bunch of positions. Kyle Larson gains 2 spots on pit road. He will come out with the lead. Chastain losing just the 1 will come out second. Chase Elliott, big mover in the pits. He gains 5 spots. Tyler Reddick, dark horse pick of the day, is up inside the top 10, gaining 8 spots on pit road. I believe he is now 7th. So Denny Hamlin had to back up. He didn't slide through his box, but when they dropped the jack on the right side, the hose of the air gun was stuck underneath the race car. So they had to jack the right side back up again, then carry over to the lefts. Hamlin loses a bunch of spots on pit road and goes from 2nd back to, let's see where he's at in the running order on our screen. I don't see him anywhere. '20th. So Denny Hamlin falls from 2nd to 20th on that pit stop with a mistake on his crew. Biffle in the I think Biffle stayed out of the pits. Either that or he took the waiver out. The scoring's just a little bit messed up right now. Biffle's been outside the top 20 all day, so him staying out of the pits. We've seen some slow cars on the restarts as it is. It's going to be even worse for that team. 14 is always spinning, LOL. Yeah, he spun again. Yeah, the Fords are just... We just talked literally right before the interview with Justin Marks, which led into that caution, that the Fords were not running well today, and literally all three of them involved in that accident were more Fords. And Joey Logano is the only Penske Ford without any damage, and that's even if you include the Wood Brothers 21 machine of Burton, which is an affiliated Ford. 115 people watching. These likes are only at 43, it looks like. 42. 42 likes on the stream, so smash the like button. Our goal is 100. We can definitely get there now. And our stream record for this season, as far as the live commentary goes, is 180-something odd number. I don't know the exact number. It was in the 180s, though, during the Busch Clash a couple weeks ago. And our overall stream record ever on the channel was last season at Talladega in the fall for the Cup Series race that was ran on that Monday afternoon, where we had over 360 people in that live stream. Bubba Wallace is your sleeper. He is currently 9th. He's inside the top 10. He had a good stop. I think he gained a bunch of spots there as well as Chastain. We are just past the halfway mark overall, and we will have 26 laps to go when they go back to green flag racing in stage 2. I don't think we've seen a green flag run longer than that outside of the first 31 laps that went caution-free leading to the competition yellow. But ever since that competition caution, cautions have been breeding other cautions ever since. We've seen 8 already. We know we're going to have another one with the stage break. And we could be fastly approaching even more yellows than what we had last week. This race has the same amount of miles, and I'd say most people would think that this track isn't as hard to drive as Auto Club. Still hard to drive, especially with these cars. Looks like Alex Bowman had some issues with his pit stop as well. Taking a look at the replay camera as the right front tire had rolled away and it impeded with the team that had pitted in front of him. Couldn't tell what team was in front of him exactly pit box wise. So uncontrolled tire penalty for Alex Bowman. He would have restarted 11th. Instead, he will be restarting at the tail. All Hendrick Chevrolet front row, Larson on the inside, Elliott on the outside. Green flag back in the air with 26 to go in stage number 2 at Las Vegas. Larson getting a massive push from the one of Chastain on the restart. Both Chastain and Larson pull clear of Elliott off of turn 2. Elliott did not take off well. Christopher Bell to the inside as well for third on the 9 of Elliott. Tyler Reddick, only driver on that third and upper lane on the outside near the wall on the restart. Trying to make some moves in the back half of the top 10. This restart a little bit more strung apart than the last couple we have seen, as Larson has about a 3-car length lead over second place, which is now heating up as Christopher Bell gets to the inside of Chastain. Bell had a fast car early, but lost the track position with a slow pit stop after the competition caution. That's the only reason he even lost the lead, and now he's trying to work his way back up towards the front as he battles Chastain, still side by side on the front stretch, aggressively side drafting him through the tri-oval and trying to pull clear in the middle of 1 and 2. He's clear, but he moves up. He's sideways and he spins. Bell goes around off of turn 2, keeps it off the outside wall. The 24 barely misses into the outside, and a parking lot stack up behind him. It looks like the 21 of Harrison Burton now has spun as well. Likely got turned from a car behind him. And Christopher Bell has flat spotted one of his tires, but I couldn't tell which one in the process of the spin. Everybody misses him, but Bell is rim riding on one of those flat tires and is bouncing on the backstretch trying to limp his way to pit road. He is going to lose at least a couple laps here and has to be damaging quite a bit of the interior of the race car with this tire. He is definitely going to lose at least one lap. I mean, he's having to legitimately limp his car to pit road. His right rear and his right front are both flat. A lot of debris being shedded now off the right rear tire of Christopher Bell, and it is tearing apart the fender. Fender on the right rear of Harrison Burton has a little bit of a scuffage as well after getting clipped from behind. Some of that might have been contact with the wall as well from the accident he was involved in before with the Briscoe and Cindric spin. Great save by Christopher Bell, but unfortunately because of the spin itself, Bell's car bottomed out in the middle of turns 1 and 2. That's what sent it sideways, though some of it may be bottoming out because of the speed he also carried into the corner at that specific point, because he sent it in pretty deep to try and clear the one of Chastain as if he was going to attempt a slide job, but in the process he just loses control. Front end shifts up the track, tries to catch it, did, but again, flat spotted both right side tires, and they're having a great deal of issues just trying to jack the car up on pit road. He's already lost one lap and will likely lose another as they continue to try and work on the 20 of Bell's race car. He didn't spin because of a flat. He spun, and then he had the flat tire after the fact. You could see on the replay the puff of smoke that flies in the mid-spin, and that was because he had locked the tires up trying to save the race car and legitimately just popped and flat-spotted the tire in the mid-spin. But he lost control of his car, just kind of overdriving and a little bit of a bottom out in turns 1 and 2 from what it looked like. Eric Jones is also on pit road. Not sure if he has any sort of damage or not. Maybe just coming in to take tires if pit road is open. So according to Mike Joy in the Fox booth, that Eric Jones' crew was underneath the hood of his race car. Most of the drivers staying out on the racetrack trying to conserve tires with this caution flag. This is caution number 9 on the day, by the way. Or actually, no, it's caution number 9, excuse me. Austin Cindric will get the free pass during this caution flag. Which Burton does Harrison belong to? Jeff or Ward? He's Jeff's son. Harrison Burton is Jeff's son, and then Jeb Burton would be Ward's son, if I'm not mistaken. Jeb Burton full-time. Well, he used to be full-time in the Cup Series with some of the backmarker teams. Now, he was full-time with Colleague Racing last year in the Xfinity Series. I'm not sure if he still is or not. Well, I'm not sure if he's full-time in the Xfinity Series still. I know he's not with Colleague Racing anymore. I don't know if he's running full-time in trucks or Xfinity. I know when I was talking to a couple of people, both at Auto Club as well as Daytona, during Speed Weeks, they seem to really like Harrison Burton. I think just driving the famed 21 Wood Brothers car probably has a lot to do with it. But they seem like he comes off pretty professional and like a great young kid as well. Well, looks like Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano might not be off to the greatest of days so far, but you know what? This Advanced Auto Parts commercial, they were able to save at the pump at least. Or I mean, he saved at the pump! The pump! 120 people watching. 50 likes. Halfway to the goal. I think we can get there. Still have not left to get that phone charger yet. I meant to leave at the end of stage 1 to go get it. I'll leave at the end of stage 2 to go get it. I'm down to 5%. Got the chat on my phone. So if I lose that, I'm going to lose the chat. So make sure I get there. I'll tell you what, though. This race highlight video tomorrow with my commentary is going to be very, very long. Well, longer than what the Busch Clash was, at least. I noticed even with all the restarts at Auto Club last week, I had more race highlight footage at Auto Club than what I did of the Daytona 500 the week before. Like an extra 2 minutes of it. Coffee time, welcome to the stream. Most underrated streamer of all time. That's a bold statement, but I appreciate it. Yeah. As Clint, I mean, that explains this race perfectly. It's not Sin City anymore. It's Spin City, according to Clint Boyer. Spin City. Should be the new name of this race. Forget the Pennzoil 400s to the Spin City 400. Green flag back in the air. Larson on the inside. Elliott on the outside once again. Kyle Busch trying to push Chase Elliott off into turn 1 as Chastain does to the back of Larson. Harvick tried to go 3 wide down to the apron on the restart. Reddick, rather, on Harvick. And Harvick was able to pull the block. And Reddick had to lose a bunch of time lifting out of the throttle into turn 1. Larson and Elliott still side by side into turn 3. Larson walks up the track, but he clears the 9 of Elliott off the exit of turn 4. 17 laps to go in stage 2 at the start-finish line, this time by with Larson ahead. Everybody in the top 4 has not won a stage yet this season, so they're all looking for their first stage win. You have to go back to Truex, who now has just gotten passed by Byron for 5th place before you find the first stage winner this season in the running order in 6th. Chastain to the inside of Chase Elliott off the exit of turn 2. Side by side for 2nd place. Kyle Busch riding in line right behind him still on the outside lane. Now that Busch is up towards the front of the field, he maybe feels in a bit more control and less vulnerable spot than what he was in the middle and the back of the pack early on due to his crash in practice yesterday and having to start at the rear with a backup car today. Bubba Wallace has moved forward since the restart up to 7th place and now is trying to work around another fellow Toyota driver, Martin Truex Jr. for 6th. We saw Kurt Busch have some speed earlier on in the race as well in the 45 car, but he's actually back to 19th and hasn't had the same speed he did back in stage 1. Byron on the inside. Kyle Busch still trying to work the outside and has since the restart. He's been up there most of the day. Byron's side draft C18 right on that left rear corner panel on the front stretch before dive bombing back down to the white line on the inside in turns 1 and 2. Busch again carries the momentum up high. Little peace sign out the window for Busch. The most Kyle Busch thing ever. And this the battle for position still continues to go on as well. I don't know if that was a peace sign in liking the battle for position or liking the clean battle, but whatever the case is, it's a great battle for 4th place as Byron and Busch have been nearly side by side for about 3 whole laps. And they're not really losing much ground behind Chase Elliott in 3rd. Byron rolling the bottom well enough. This time Busch gets enough of a run off of turn 4 to pull clear of Byron through the tri-oval. Ross Chastain is creeping in on Kyle Larson for the lead with 12 laps to go in the stage. 0.3 of a second behind Larson right now. Truex also working the top like his teammate Busch in front of him, and he's able to get around William Byron. Byron drives it deep into 3 and 4 and passes Truex right back for 5th. And now holds up in front of him. Sarah Sanchez, welcome to the stream. Eric Almirola talking about his legs being completely numb. Interesting development there. That was the same issue Tyler Reddick has been struggling with this year as well. I wonder if that wears off under caution or if it's still a factor even during the yellow flag. And you have to wonder how these guys are even able to race with a numb leg when you're using your legs so much to drive in any car, let alone at these speeds. We've seen over 190 miles an hour on corner entry at times. So I guess Larry McReynolds was just talking about Ryan Blaney also having a similar situation, last week at Auto Club with his leg going numb as well. Haven't heard anybody else having any issues of that today outside of Almirola. And then you guys mentioned down in the chat that Reddick might have been having issues with his other leg. It was his left leg recently, but today it's been his right leg. 136 viewers. Wow, that's awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Chastain has stayed consistently a car length or 2 behind Larson. He has not been able to get enough of a run to try and make a move and make a pass on him for the race lead. We have 7 laps to go currently in stage number 2, with Larson ahead of Chastain. Battle for 5th between Truex and Kyle Busch. Truex will make the pass on the outside of the 18 of Busch. Swapping lanes back and forth are Larson and Chastain as well. Seems like Larson goes to the outside one corner. Chastain does it the next. Both cars going to go towards the bottom this time. In fact, it's Larson runs more of the middle line, maybe faking a move to the bottom. Chastain runs all the way on the white line and gets to the inside of Larson. Side by side on the back straightaway. Battle for the stage win. Chastain again, down to the bottom. Larson goes near the wall on the outside. Chastain's going to be clear off of turn 4. Larson going to try to carry the speed on the front stretch, but he is nowhere close to try a crossover move on Chastain this time into turn 1. Moments ago, while we were watching the battle for the lead, Kyle Busch had gotten into the outside wall off of turn 4 with a little bit of a scrape. Maybe got a bit tight, the dirty air behind Martin Truex Jr. Dirty air not as big of a factor as what we saw with the 550 package in recent years of the Gen 6 car, but still an issue in any forms of racing when you're back in traffic. You're never going to completely get rid of it. We saw it even back in the Gen 4 days as well, and maybe that upset Busch's car just enough to make that mistake, but he is still rolling on all 4s, no major issue there, and hasn't lost a spot since making contact, although Logano, who's been outside the top 10 most of the day, is up to 7th. He survived the carnage and has had a fairly clean race, one of the few Fords to be able to say something like that. And he is working on Kyle Busch for 6th place. Chastain pulling away from Elliott, who is now taking over second. I should say he's pulling away from Larson. Elliott has just passed Larson for second that last lap. And interval-wise, it seems like he is slowly closing in on the one of Chastain, but I'm not sure if he's going to have enough time to get there before the end of the stage. Coming to 2 laps to go this time by in stage 2. Going to go to my fantasy team real quick and plug Cedric in for Blaney. There we go. And back to the raw feed. Sorry for that. Elliott's still closing. He's within 0.6 of a second now. He's getting about a tenth or two a lap, but that pace is still not going to be quick enough to catch Chastain. So we are now on the final lap of stage 2. Kyle Busch has somehow fought his way back around Truex after Logano was just battling him. Some of the backmarker cars may be getting in the way, allowing a little bit of a catch-up for Kyle Busch to make his pass on Truex. Off of turn 4, Ross Chastain by 0.7 of a second is going to win stage 2. First stage win of the year for Chastain. Chase Elliott will come home second. Kyle Larson third. William Byron fourth. Kyle Busch will round out the top 5. Martin Truex Jr. in 6th, Joey Logano 7th, Kevin Harvick 8th, Denny Hamlin 9th, and Bubba Wallace will round out the top 10 in Stage 2. First ever stage win for Team Trackhouse, and it's for the one of Ross Chastain in Stage 2 with a Pennzoil 400 at Las Vegas. Watermelons might be flying after the race. That could be possible. Appreciate the comment again, AP Sports. Coaster Owen, welcome to the stream. Rooting for Chase Elliott. Sure many of you guys are. He is the fan favorite, of course. Final stage is going to be 102 laps. We'll probably have a little less than 100 to go by the time they will go green. There is a little bit of a shortage with tires. And under that last caution, Jamie Little had radioed into the Fox booth that Christopher Bell, for instance, only had one more set of sticker tires. The other 3 sets he had were scuffs that they may have ran maybe in practice and or early in the race when we saw pit stops after about maybe 7 to 10 laps. So those are the only tires that Bell has left. And he's been pitting pretty much the same amount of times and at the same time that the rest of the field has been pitting. So a lot of the field down to only a couple sets of tires at the most, and of sticker tires, maybe even less than that. And we still are about to head into the final stage. It's going to be very interesting to see how the tire management will go. And on a track like Vegas, where again tire wear matters, could we see some maybe tire failures causing spins? Because all these spins have been caused by either driver error or just lack of mechanical grip, and not because of the tire failures. We've seen tire failures mainly because of actual flat tires themselves happening on the track. Now, granted, I guess Bell was involved in a spin, which brought out the last caution we saw for incident, so maybe he would have one less than, I guess, most of the field that has not spun or been involved in an accident of some sort today. Dawson Witter, welcome to the stream. Well, at least Chase got a top 3 in the stage. Yep, finished second. He hasn't led yet today, but he's been knocking on the doorstep here in recent laps, at least. We have had a plethora of different leaders who have led today, including Ross Chastain, who won Stage 2, of course. Kyle Larson has led 22 laps today. William Byron's led some laps. Kyle Busch has led some laps. Denny Hamlin led 31 laps in the race, his third most. Alex Bowman. Michael McDowell even led on a restart once. Brad Keselowski also led on a restart once. Greg Biffle led 1 lap under caution. Ryan Blaney led 10 laps early on. And Christopher Bell, even up to this point in the race, has still led the most laps. He led the first 33 after starting on the pole, leading to the pit stops under the competition caution. Ross Chastain is going to get radioed in once they get through the pit stops. Carmen Hatch, welcome to the stream as well. Favorite YouTube channel ever. Appreciate it. CCOO, welcome as well. I try to shout out as many people as I can when I see them in the chat. It's hard when you get this many people in the chat, though, at once. Tend to skip some people from time to time. A lot of the field is on pit road taking tires, which they have lack of from now to the end of the race. This could be one of the final stops of the day. They will have to pit for fuel at least one more time at some point. Ross Chastain will win the race off of pit road. Kyle Busch gains 3 spots. Biggest loser in the top 10 was Chase Elliott, losing 2 spots. Truex also lost a spot in the pits as well. So Ross Chastain and Kyle Busch will likely be on the front row to start the final stage in the Pennzoil 400 at Las Vegas. 98 laps to go as we run under the stage 2 caution break. We've had 10 cautions so far, just 2 away from matching our total from last week at Auto Club. And here's Ross Chastain.
Tomorrow night, you win this big, you might be able to take Dolly Parton to the show. What do you think?
No, I don't know if we'd make it if that happened.
That's pretty much what I was thinking. Man, you're doing a good job. Keep it up. Boys in the pits are doing you good. You guys are looking awesome. Very strong.
Yeah, thank you.
Dolly Parton is host.
Very brief discussion with Ross Chastain during the stage break. He definitely is not somebody that is going to talk about how great he's done so far in this race today. Not because of his lack of confidence, but maybe the superstition is starting to set in. Ross Chastain, plus the craziness, I guess, of this race so far that anything could happen. And how could you blame him up to this point? Could see Ross Chastain getting a win potentially this season. I did not predict Ross Chastain to make the playoffs in my preseason predictions. I did predict Austin Cindric to make the playoffs this year. I thought he would get a win on a road course. Well, he won the Daytona 500, but one way or another, I predicted at least the first 2 drivers who have locked in playoff spots so far, barring us getting more than 16 different winners this season. Ross Chastain would definitely be an upset win. He has never won in his NASCAR Cup Series career, and probably has his best opportunity to do so with the run he has had today. He has now eclipsed the most laps led up to this point with 35 laps led during the caution flag. It's just past Christopher Bell, who has led 33 laps today. Christopher Bell also got the free pass during the stage break. He only lost 1 lap during his flat tire incident with the spin he had. And if he doesn't have too much damage to the underbody of the race car, look out for Bell. He qualified on the pole. He was in second when he had lost control and spun. Let's see if he can work his way back up there. But he's back at 30th right now. We'll be at the rear of the lead lap. It's going to be interesting to say the least. Ross Chastain and Bubba Wallace fan. Bubba Swalt. Yeah, they're both having good days. Bubba's actually in 10th currently, according to our leaderboard. He was 10th at the end of Stage 2 as well. But potentially the man to beat right now is the leader, Ross Chastain. It's hard to tell who has the fastest car in today's race, to be completely honest. Chastain leads right now, but Larson at times has looked good on the short run. I'd say Kyle Larson probably has the fastest short run car, or one of the fastest short run cars. Colin Woodcocks, welcome to the stream. We have seen teammates become maybe a little bit of foes over the last couple weeks to start this season. We'll see if something like that maybe happens today. We've seen a lot of the JGR cars running well up towards the front. I would assume Ross Chastain will be on the bottom lane for the restart. The only time I can remember anybody on the outside having any sort of, not advantage necessarily, but a good restart to say the least on the outside of the front row was Alex Bowman, but that was because a caution came out half a lap into the restart back in stage 1, and he happened to be inches ahead of Blaney at the time for the lead. And it will be Chastain on the inside of row number 1. Kyle Busch will be on the outside. Kevin Harvick has worked his way up to 6th, having a Kevin Harvick-like performance. Quiet, solid day in the top 10. Kevin Harvick 2021 edition, at least. Cole Custer having issues under the caution right now. He is puffing a great deal of smoke and is in the tri-oval. They're probably going to wave this restart off, as it looks as if his car is not going to be able to make it to the restart. So a mechanical failure for Cole Custer as he's got some smoke coming out from the underbody of the race car. I'm sure he's trying to get it fired back up again, but it looks like something has failed on the 41. Tow truck hauling his way down the front stretch, trying to get Custer pushed out of the way. They're probably still going to have to wave the restart off, I would have to assume. Custer's still sitting on the inside now, getting that push from the tow truck. And we'll see if maybe he can get it back started again. If not, they'll have to push that car behind the garage. Yeah, Blaney already DNF'd. As well as Daniel Suarez are the only 2 drivers out of the race today. Looks like Brad Keselowski's front bumper camera has a crack in it. It's all spider-webbed. He had a spin earlier in the day where he backed into Blaney. I didn't think he had any damage on the front of his car, so maybe he punctured it off of somebody's rear diffuser when trying to bump draft him on a restart or something. Lights are still out on the pace car. They already waved off the restart for 1 lap. It looks like they'll keep it off as Custer is just now getting into the pit lane, but the tow truck is still pushing him there. So they will go green at lap 175, which would leave us with about 92 laps to go when we go green. Wife is a Stenhouse fan. He's having a good start to the season. Had a top 10 last week. He's not doing so hot today. Qualified well, but still got a long ways to go. This race has been crazy so far. I would not be surprised if we see more craziness in this final stage. We weren't able to really get a long green flag run last week at Auto Club, and we haven't been able to get one today. I'd like to actually see one with this next-gen car at some point. Hopefully we can get it today. We have not seen any green flag pit stops between last week or so far this week with all the cautions that have played out. Daytona 500, we saw green flag pit stops, and we had a caution in stage 1 a couple laps after the fact when the wheel came off of Justin Haley's car. Those are the only green flag pit stops we've seen in a points-paying cup race this season. Not including the dual races, of course. 160 people watching. We might have more people watching this race than the Clash. Like, share, but most importantly, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. 58 likes right now on the stream. Our goal is 100. I think we can get there. Final stage is about to begin. Pace car taking the giant left-hand turn off of turn 4. And it'll be Ross Chastain and Kyle Busch leading us into the Geico restart zone. Chastain on the inside, Kyle Busch on the outside with Larson on the inside row 2. Elliott outside row 2. Green flag back in the air. Chastain gets the push from Larson. But Kyle Busch is still on the outside of him into turns 1 and 2. Busch is going to battle hard for this track position that he has lacked most of the day. And he'll have the run off the exit of turn 2. Chastain will side draft him on the back straightaway now, trying to pull close with the 18. Door to door as they enter into turn 3. Busch pins the car in the middle lane, gets a better exit. But it's Chastain who holds the bottom well on his own, and they side draft again through the tri-oval. Still side by side as they enter turn 1. Chase Elliott in third, right behind him, running the middle lane, same as Kyle Busch. About a car length, maybe a half a car length behind him. Chastain tries to move up in between the two cars. Didn't do it, but he was able to actually side draft Busch and still stay alongside of him. Chastain and Busch have been deadlocked even for the lead for 2 full laps now as they cross the start-finish line. It's still Chastain on the bottom, and still it's Kyle Busch on the top. Elliott has had nowhere to go with the 2 cars right now, is still staying in that middle lane, as well as Larson in 4th. Logano now back inside the top 5 for the first time since very early in the going. He gets underneath Larson for 4th down the backstretch. Logano has won 2 of the last 3 Spring Vegas races. He's got the Pennzoil paint scheme on the car again today. It's been a quiet day for Logano so far, but he is still hanging on to that battle with Larson. Chastain and Busch have been side by side for nearly 3.5 laps. Chastain finally clears the 18 of Busch off of turn 2, 3 laps into the restart. And Ross Chastain has the lead. Kyle Busch is still going to stay within about 2 car lengths behind Chastain, 0.2 of a second off the lead, and will try to keep the pressure on. Busch, more than most people in the field, would want to win at Vegas. It is his home track. He has a win here in the past. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Bubba Wallace battling for position for 13th. Wallace lost a few spots off the restart, while Stenhouse has gained about 5 since the restart. Stenhouse rocking the beautiful Sunny D paint scheme. As they battle middle of the pack, up at the front of the field, Ross Chastain is slowly pulling away from Kyle Busch. And has opened up about a 0.6 of a second lead on Busch at the start-finish line. Chase Elliott now a little more than a second off the race lead as well. 3 Hendrick Chevys run 3rd through 5th of Elliott, Larson, and Byron, and the 4th of which Bowman is in 8th. Elliott, the only Hendrick Chevy not to lead a lap yet today, but he is up towards the front. Contact into turn 3. Back in the pack in that battle between Chris Buescher and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And then nearly turned Buescher right around. Kurt Busch able to get by both cars with the loss of momentum. Busch up to 14th. Kurt, that is. Logano, who was narrowing down on the Hendrick cars in front of him for position initially on the restart, is now starting to fall backwards on the longer run like he has most of the day. Martin Truex Jr. and Alex Bowman drafting on the inside lane heading into turn 3. Truex will easily clear Logano for position, and then Alex Bowman in the 48 going to get to the inside of Logano as well. Replay of the contact between the 47 and the 17. It almost looked like Buescher made contact first with Stenhouse off the exit of turn 2, trying to side draft him. Then Stenhouse threw a bad block on him, maybe a little payback or something, as they were entering into turn 3. Kyle Busch is starting to close back on Chastain again. He's moved his line up a bit. Another lane or two. We've seen Busch run the outside for the majority of the day. He's not all the way near the wall, but he is probably in that very next closest lane below it, while still running just a hair above the middle. Fox going to the crank it up. You guys will get to listen to that right here, right now, live on the channel. Coming to 79 laps to go this time by. That was Fox's Crank It Up that you got to listen to live on the channel here today. Ross Chastain still the race leader. He has pulled ahead now to 0.6 of a second after Kyle Busch was closing in on the outside for a few laps. Ross Chastain now is starting to grow the lead out a bit more. Fox going to a commercial break. They're side by side. I need to run down and get my phone charger as quickly as I possibly can. So bear with me for a quick moment. I'll be back in probably 30 seconds. Alright, I made it back. I tried to make that as quick as possible. We got the PJs in on the cam again. Alrighty. Keep this phone under charge. $150 people currently watching. We've had as many as 160 in this one. Thanks for everybody tuning in once again here today. Watching the Pennzoil 400 on the channel. Had a couple new people into the chat as well. Theory of God, Mr. Wright, digging up the Carolinas. Welcome to the stream. We'll take a quick rundown of the running order. 74 laps to go, at least the top drivers in the running order. Ross Chastain leads by 0.7 of a second over Kyle Busch. Martin Truex Jr. sits in third. He is 4 seconds off the race lead. Chase Elliott is in fourth place. Kyle Larson in fifth. Alex Bowman in sixth. William Byron seventh. Denny Hamlin eighth. Joey Logano ninth. And Tyler Reddick rounds out the top 10. Fastest lap of the race so far, Kyle Larson. Lap time in the 29 with a 29.63 is the fastest lap of the race today. Tyler Reddick also was up there in second, I believe, and Bell was also in the top 5. Those guys have had fast race cars, especially in qualifying trim. They all qualified top 7. Bell and Larson were on the front row. Chase Elliott going to lose a couple positions here, and I wonder if he had to hop out of the throttle. Kyle Larson and Alex Bowman will get around him on the front stretch, and now here comes Byron working the outside lane through turns 1 and 2. And he'll have a run on Elliott into turn 3. He'll pull to the bottom. Elliott on the outside, and he is going to get past, it looks like, by the 24. So Elliott losing 3 positions, all to his Hendrick Motorsport teammates that last lap. Byron did not slide up in front of Elliott when he had the chance. He actually stayed down on the bottom. Elliott side drafts him through the tri-oval. Elliott again to the top. Byron again down on the white line on the bottom. And this time Byron will clear Elliott for good off of turn 2. So Elliott has dropped 3 spots back to 7th now in about a lap and a half. Chris Gay, welcome to the stream. Ross Chastain leading the way right now. He was the winner in Stage 2, our Stage 1 winner. Had a brain fart for a second of who won Stage 1. Alex Bowman won Stage 1 today. Way back when. Almost forgot that happened. So not only Ross Chastain has one of the faster cars, if not maybe even the fastest car in the field. He has led the most laps with 64 laps led currently, but he has also had the fastest pit crew today. Fox just showed a graphic for the drivers who have had the fastest elapsed pit stop times today through every stop, and Ross Chastain is on the top of the board. Chase Elliott in second, no surprise with that pit crew considering the success that pit crew has had. Remember, they won some extra cash in the All-Star race even last year for having the fastest stop in that race. Saved Elliott his chances at a championship back at Martinsville 2 years ago in 2020, so they've already had some major highlights with that crew, and today they're towards the top of their game once again. Everybody will still have to pit one more time before the end of the race. This is one of the longer green flag runs we have had in the race today, as we have not had a caution yet in the final stage, and it's going to be interesting to see if we get to have green flag stops, because we haven't had that since the Daytona 500. The single lug nut pit stops are still new to these teams. We've seen many mistakes from teams this season, and we may see some more. I would not be surprised if we see maybe even a couple issues with drivers having good days in the top 10. And that could dictate their finish to this race. And next stop will definitely be the money stop. Barring the race turning into a bunch of yellows late again. Kyle Busch has moved his lane up now near the wall. Ross Chastain also moved up at least through 3 and 4 that time. He is running similar to where Busch was running initially on the restart. The groove right off the wall, at least in turns 3 and 4. Now he's more down to the middle bottom portion of the racetrack in turns 1 and 2. Busch pretty much running the outside most of the way around the track, both in 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Busch within 0.6 of a second now. He was a little bit faster than Chastain that last lap. Chastain all the way down to the white line on the bottom through 3 and 4, but that's because a lap car was in that outside lane. Chastain has never been in this position before in the Cup Series. Kyle Busch has been in this position many times in the Cup Series where he has been up towards the front of the field, if not controlling the race late. So this is new for Chastain to try and manage which line he is going to run when. And trying to do it against a multi-time Cup Series champion behind him, one of the best in the sport. It's going to be very, very interesting to see if Chastain's going to be able to hold off Busch and the rest of the field to win this race. Tyler Reddick making a pass on Chase Elliott, who continues to move backwards. Hamlin also got around Elliott a few laps ago, as well as William Byron. Hamlin really out of nowhere is up to 6th. Remember, they dropped the jack a little early on his second to last pit stop, and the hose got caught underneath the car. That costed him, who was running second place at the time earlier in the race, at the time of that mistake on pit road, dropped him back to 20th. So we know Hamlin's got a fast car, but that's why we haven't seen him in the top 10 late. Costed him any sort of shot at stage points in stage 2 as well. But Denny Hamlin is working his way forward. He's still 7.6 seconds off the race lead. It's going to be tough to make that time up over the last 62 laps without a caution. But we'll see. FEMA Camp Etiquette for Dummies. Welcome to the stream. .48's driven all the way through the field. Oh, it looks like we had car get into the wall. William Byron got into the wall a couple laps ago. We continue to stay green, but that is why Hamlin was able to, with ease, make the pass on him. And yes, as you mentioned, Alex Bowman is up to 4th place. He is charging from further back in the field, but same goes for Denny Hamlin. Again, top 5, Ross Chastain 1st, Kyle Busch 2nd, Martin Truex Jr. 3rd, Alex Bowman 4th, Kyle Larson rounds out the top 5. And Larson may have gotten into the wall off of turn 4 a lap or 2 ago as well. So a couple of the Hendrick Chevys struggling with their grip late in this tire stint. Definitely looks like Larson is really tight, rolling the center of the corner. His car pushes up the track. The rear of the car is not moving around like we've seen with a lot of these cars today. It looks like it's just straight as he's going for a beeline off the exit of the corner. Larson always 1 for 1 in a looser car as it is, so battling tight conditions. You know he can't be liking the race car too much, even though it is still fast, and he's hanging on to a 5th place spot in the running order. A little side-by-side action from Fox during this next ad break with 58 laps to go now for Ross Chastain at the start-finish line. I guess we'll take a rundown of the full running order now while we're on our longest green flag run of the day up to this point. Ross Chastain with the lead, 1.4 seconds over Kyle Busch. He is 2.3 seconds ahead of Martin Truex Jr. in 3rd. Alex Bowman sits in 4th. Kyle Larson rounds out the top 5. Denny Hamlin in 6th. William Byron 7th. Tyler Reddick 8th. Joey Logano 9th. And Kevin Harvick rounds out the top 10. Chase Elliott in 11th. Eric Jones in 12th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 13th. Kurt Busch 14th. Bubba Wallace rounds out the top 15. Eric Almirola 16th. Austin Dillon 17th. Corey LaJoie 18th. Justin Haley 19th. And rookie Harrison Burton, who was involved in an accident, 2 of which earlier today, is rounding out the top 20. Chris Buescher in 21st. Christopher Bell, after a spin, still trying to come from behind in 22nd. He had a couple flat tires. He was the pole sitter and spun while running 2nd towards the end of stage 2. Michael McDowell is in 22nd. Todd Gilliland in 23rd. Ty Dillon 24th. Austin Cindric rounds out the top 25. He was also involved in an incident today and is the last car in the lead lap. Cody Ware, first car, 1 lap down in 26th. Daniel Hamrick 27th. Austin Dillon 28th. Brad Keselowski is 2 laps down in 29th. BJ McLeod 2 down in 30th. 2 down for Josh Bilicki in 31st. Garrett Smithley is 5 laps down in 32nd. Cole Custer exited the race with a mechanical failure. He will finish 33rd. Greg Biffle's out of the race as well in 34th. Chase Briscoe is in 35th. He was out of the race. Ryan Blaney and Daniel Suarez have also crashed out. Blaney 36. Suarez rounds out the field in 37th. Austin Dillon is on pit road. He was lapped down. I'm not sure if... I think what happened was the scoring was making him a lap down. I'm not sure where he was before that, but he was on pit road making his pit stop as I was reading the running order. We are almost halfway through the final stage, and these guys are within the window to make it on field at the end of the race, so Dillon trying to make up whatever time he can. He's been outside the top 10 most of the day, so he's just trying to capitalize on whatever he can, and he will take this risk. Definitely don't want to go lap down because of a potential caution, especially with as many as we have seen today. Probably why a lot of these drivers are going to stay on the track as long as they can, I would have to assume, for that reason. Especially with the lack of tires we have left, I would make the decision to pit or not to pit under a caution flag. Very interesting if we get through green flag stops before the next yellow. Christopher Bell also on pit road. He was at the rear of the lead lap trying to gain whatever track position he can. So that's two cars who were on the lead lap who have now pit. Yeah, a lot of Kyle Busch fans down in the chat today, I've noticed too. And we're in Las Vegas. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not. Be interesting. Tighten up the lug nuts, yep. Couple of teams making their money stop. A lot of the field at the front, though, has not pitted. Can't blame them. They don't want to end a chance at a good day if we see a caution and they would have made their stop already. Martin Truex Jr. is charging very late in this tire stint. Maybe he has managed his tires a bit better than the cars in front of him as he passes Kyle Busch through turns 3 and 4 for second and currently sits about 1.2 seconds off race leader Ross Chastain. With this being the longest green flag run we have seen so far today, we have not seen these drivers have to manage tires for this long. Maybe Martin Truex Jr., who was in third since the restart for the most time, was just kind of letting the two cars of Kyle Busch and Chastain get away from him. He can manage his tires. Now it's time to attack as we're getting close to green flag pit stops. Chastain had a slip-up off turn 4 that last time. He had to lift, and now Truex is within a half a second of the lead. Kyle Busch pulls into the pits a lap after losing second place. He'll be the first car inside the top 5 to pit. Bubba Wallace, who was in 15th, also on pit road. 4 tire stops, and Kyle Busch with pitting now could cycle to the lead, depending on how fast the stop is. Kevin Harvick is also on pit road. Ross Chastain making his way in from the lead. Truex trying to gain time on pit road behind him and was coming in a lot hotter than Chastain. We'll have to make sure he wasn't speeding. Again, these are our first green flag pit stops since the first stage of the Daytona 500. A lot of the field in the pits. Bowman is in. Larson stayed on the track another lap that last time as well. Stenhouse, Byron is in the pits. Logano's in the pits. Larson now in 2 laps after Kyle Busch and 1 lap after Chastain and the rest of the leaders. Only driver in the field, 2 championships, bad lawnmower driver. Oh, trouble! Denny Hamlin is spun! And that might bring out a caution. We are green right now. Stenhouse is still on the track. Stenhouse has not pit. Denny Hamlin is spun. Stenhouse is probably going to stay out until we potentially get a caution. Ty Dillon is also out on the racetrack. If you look at our live leaderboard, there are only 8 cars on the lead lap right now. Some of them are faster cars that have already pit, like Chastain and Truex. Hamlin spun. He's trying to work his way back into the pits. He was in 6th before the stop started. And he's probably going to have to pit. Caution is out. Caution is out. Hamlin has stalled. He was not able to get to the pits. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. might be the luckiest driver today. Denny Hamlin spun on the apron of turns 1 and 2 while he was trying to get up to speed leaving pit road. The reason why he spun as he radioed into his pit crew was because he had accidentally downshifted. Again, this new gearbox driver's still trying to get used to. And Hamlin accidentally downshifted, which caused the rear tires to lock up. And he spins. A little bit of a wheel hop, I guess, if you will. Stenhouse and Ty Dillon were first and second. They were the only two cars that still had to pit. As well, Hamrick in 7th still had to pit. He was one of the last cars on the lead lap in the running order as it was. He will also luck out. That's our first caution of the final stage of the race. Currently have 45 laps to go as Stenhouse leads. Stenhouse, Ty Dillon, Daniel Hamrick, they will definitely pit this time by. They'll have a couple lap fresher tires than Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain, Martin Truex Jr., Alex Bowman, and Kyle Larson, who are the only cars on the lead lap that have already made or already did make a green flag pit stop prior to the caution. Everybody from 9th on back, like William Byron, Tyler Reddick, Kevin Harvick, Austin Dillon, Chase Elliott, Brad Keselowski, Bubba Wallace, Joey Logano, and others will get trapped a lap down. Some of them, I believe, could take the wave around as long as they weren't behind Kyle Busch, who was in 3rd. So that will allow for Reddick and Harvick to get back on the lead lap as well as Byron. But I believe everybody from 12th on back will not even be able to take the wave around. Never mind. Well, the scoring is updating. But they will still have to line up behind all the lap cars. And Stenhouse, for instance, Hamrick, those guys will get the restart 7th, 8th, ahead of all the guys that took the wave around, and they'll have a couple lap fresher tires than them. Denny Hamlin not having a gear that he could shift to get out of his pit box, so he is definitely going to lose at least a couple laps now. Tough break for the guy who had a great car, was as high as 2nd at one point in the race today. Actually led 31 laps today, and worked his way back up to 6th before bringing out this caution with about 50 laps to go. 174 people watching. We're very close to a stream record for this season with the live commentary live streams. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We have streams like this on the daily with NASCAR video games with the live commentary, just like you're seeing today. Do the same thing realistically there, but most importantly, we do it for the commentary live streams for the real races as well as you're seeing here this weekend. Kyle Larson, too fast exiting pit road during his green flag stop. That was probably his Achilles heel last season, was speeding on pit road, and it's going to come back to bite him in just the second green flag stop of the season since the Daytona 500. Kyle Larson will have to restart at the rear of the field. He was one of the cars that were actually on the lead lap when the caution waved that had already pitted, so Larson will have to restart at the rear. He's actually lucky a caution came out Otherwise, he was going to have to serve that penalty under green. Denny Hamlin's day has come to an end. His helmet is off, and in frustration, he will leave the pit lane, and probably not just frustration, but humiliation for Denny Hamlin on a self-inflicted mistake that I'm sure he's probably never even made in his career. And I would assume an interview will be coming with Denny Hamlin, and when that happens, you guys will get to listen in. Next live stream on the channel, as far as live commentary goes, will be tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And before I get to the end of that spiel, here is Denny Hamlin.
Remembering things before the start of this race, was that one of those?
Yeah, we broke transaxle, so just killed every deer when I left that road. So we had the best car today. It's just got back there, and then we're working our ways forward. Just any mistakes.
Thanks, Denny.
So he will join.
Hamlin going to join a few other drivers who have already DNF'd in today's race. Drivers who are already out would include Daniel Suarez, Ryan Blaney, Chase Briscoe, Greg Biffle, Cole Custer, and now Denny Hamlin. Kyle Busch will be the leader on the restart. He cycled ahead of Chastain, pitting a lap before him while running about a second and a half behind him at the timing of the green flag stops. So he will be the control car on the restart. I would assume he'll elect the inside lane as pretty much everybody has done all day long. And we will have 41 laps to go when we get to the green flag mark. Chastain will line up outside of the front row as well, as we kind of assume. Kyle Busch will also have his teammate Martin Truex Jr. on the inside as a push car on the restart right behind him. Larson is dropping to the back now after having to serve a penalty for speeding on pit road. Stenhouse, Ty Dillon, Daniel Hamrick will be 5th through 7th on the restart. Why is that important? They had stayed out long enough for a caution to strike in the middle of green flag pit stops. And with staying out long enough, they trapped a lot of the field a lap down. A lot of those drivers have taken the wave around during the caution, but they will be on older tires. Other drivers on older tires would include the top 4 in front of Stenhouse, Dillon, and Hamrick, which would be Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain, Martin Truex Jr., and Alex Bowman. They probably only have about 5 lap older tires than Stenhouse, Dillon, and Hamrick, but we'll see how much of a difference that is going to make on this next restart. We did have almost 200 watching. 186. I did see we were at 190, so that is a new stream record for this season for people watching the live commentary live streams. Greatly appreciated, everybody. And hopefully you are enjoying the race and the race coverage today. This may be the last restart, it may not be. We'll have to wait and see. Green flag is about to wave as they head to the Geico restart zone. Pace car is already on the pit lane. Will we see a first career win for somebody today? Will we see a long winless streak snapped? Maybe just a defending champion going to victory lane again as the green flag waves. Stacked up on the restart. Hamrick did not take off well. Cindric takes it 4 wide to the inside, down to the apron. Now slides up the racetrack. And they are all sorts of congested together. One car is in the wall off the exit of turn 2, all on his own. And then somebody got into the side of him as well. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Kyle Busch got to the lead on the restart, clearing Chastain off the exit of turn 4. Chastain holds on to second, side by side for third between Bowman and Truex, with Bowman on the outside and Truex on the bottom. Kyle Busch runs the middle to upper lane. Ross Chastain runs the bottom. Truex Bowman still side by side for third. Kyle Busch trying to get a win at his home track after starting last, wrecking 9 laps into his practice session yesterday, having to go to a backup car, was not able to qualify that backup car. And now the pit strategy call. to pit a lap before Chastain was the reason he got the restart from the lead. He timed the restart out well, and now he leads. But can he hold off the fast one car behind him, and as well as his teammate Martin Truex Jr.? Stage 1 winner Alex Bowman is in 4th. Stenhouse still holding on to 5th. Byron is up to 6th place, and now he'll pass Stenhouse on the outside off the exit of turn 4 for 5th. Byron rocketing forward on the restart now. So Stenhouse, Dillon, and Hamrick, who had the fresh tires on the restart, are not able to hold the cars on 5-lap older tires behind them, and they'll probably start to fade back to about where they were running prior to the yellow. Brett Johnson, welcome to the stream. Welcome from Massachusetts. 37 laps to go. Austin Cindric must have pitted during the current green flag run because he has now scored a lap down, even though he was in the top 10 initially on the restart. He's first car lap down at 25th. 203 people watching. Thank you, everybody. 76 likes. Our goal is 100 on the stream today. We have just 36 laps to go as we are down to crunch time. So again, Kyle Busch runs first. Ross Chastain at second. Martin Truex Jr. third. Alex Bowman fourth. William Byron rounds out the top 5. Tyler Reddick, our sleeper pick of the day, is up to 6th. Ricky Stenhouse 7th. Ty Dillon 8th. Eric Almirola 9th. And Kurt Busch rounds out the top 10. Top 3 run within a half a second of one another. Chastain is 0.3 of a second off the lead from Kyle Busch, just a few car lengths behind him, but it's Busch who has the track position in the clean air. Chastain to the bottom, Busch runs the middle, Truex runs the same line as his teammate Busch in the middle lane as well. Alex Bowman only 1 second off the lead in 4th, then 2 seconds back is Byron in 5th. Truex had a pretty good run off the exit of turn 4. Dive bombs to the inside, into the tri-oval. He's underneath Chastain, the other Trackhouse car. Side drafts him as they enter into turn 1 side by side still. And as they race side by side like this, it might allow Kyle Busch to slowly pull away depending on how long this battle will take between Truex and Chastain. And can Alex Bowman capitalize and close in on this battle for second as well, as he is still back and forth? Kyle Busch about 0.4 of a second quicker than Chastain and Truex that last lap because of the side drafting going on between the 19 and the 1. Hopefully one of the bots could take care of, or one of the, we have a bot in the chat, for those of you that didn't see that. See if one of those moderators can get rid of it. Truex has finally worked his way around Ross Chastain on the outside. He was unable to pass him on the bottom. He got the run that time. Through turns 1 and 2 up high. Chastain back to 3rd. Ty Dillon has fallen outside of the top 10 now on his older tires. Stenhouse is still holding on to 7th. Sorry, on his fresher tires. Kyle Larson, who restarted at the rear of the field, is working on Christopher Bell for 15th. But he's going to need a lot of help if he's going to want a shot to win this race. Zachary Dawson, welcome to the stream. Thank you for keeping you informed on the race. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks to all 200 of you watching this stream. Let me, I'll get rid of that bot. Hang on. Alrighty, now I'll get the race coverage back. I couldn't do it from my phone because this isn't my phone I'm using. You can still see the intervals even during the Fox commercial break. They are running side by side as we have 29 laps left. I would have to imagine it's going to be the last ad break during green flag action today, and they will go full coverage to the end as long as it stays green. 24 cars on the lead lap. Cindric is the first car one lap down if we did get another caution. He's the only car one lap down. Actually, now he'll go 2 laps down in front of the leader, so he has really had an issue since that restart, as he was inside the top 10 briefly. And that was rallying after an earlier crash in the race for himself as well. Kyle Busch had a spin for his own self very early in the race in stage 1. He got ran into from behind from Daniel Hamrick after there were a couple cars of Austin Dillon and, let's see, it was Austin Dillon and Justin Haley who spun out with contact on the restart turns 1 and 2. Earlier in the day, Busch got ran into from behind, and he was kind of behind a set of tires from then on. He had to change tires just to make sure he didn't flat spot, which led him to have to stay out of the pits at one point during stage 2 to try and get back on the same tire strategy as everybody else. And at that point in time, that's where he got his track position back and never fell outside the top 10 like we had seen from other drivers who had stayed out on older tires. But he did fall out of the race lead. But now, after a great pit strategy, which he was running in second prior to the green flag pit stops in stage 3, he pitted 1 lap before Chastain, which was just enough for Busch to cycle ahead of Ross. Then we got a caution. He held on to the lead on the restart. Chastain put on a fight, and still is putting on a fight, as well as Martin Truex Jr., but it's Busch who leads with 25 to go. Martin Truex Jr. 1 second off the race lead. Gapped Chastain that time after Ross went to the outside and slipped up off the exit of turn 2. And Martin Truex Jr. each of the last 2 laps has been quicker than Kyle Busch. Fastest lap of the race for Martin Truex Jr. was ran at lap 2:33, which was about 12 laps ago. Potentially the fastest, obviously, that 19 car has been all day long. It was an average speed of 181.93 miles an hour. Truex has brought that lead down to within about 0.3 of a second on Kyle Busch with 21 laps to go. And you wonder if the lap traffic could also be holding Kyle Busch up just a little bit more. He had clean air, but now as he catches every lap car, if they run the same line, has dirty air he did not have from before. Truex has seemed to be running just a bit higher than Busch since the restart as well. Both primarily in the middle lane, that time through turns 1 and 2. Eric Jones, Bubba Wallace battling for the 10th position further back. About 11 seconds off the race lead. Eric Jones had a great top 3 run all last week at Auto Club. Finished second in both stages and finished third in the race. 20 laps to go. Kyle Busch leads at his home track in front of his hometown crowd, and he's trying to get the win in the Pennzoil 400, but it's his teammate Martin Truex Jr. who is riding his coattails. Ross Chastain also only 0.7 of a second back in third. A lot more clean air and clean traffic ahead of Busch now. No lap cars for the recent vicinity. Busch a little bit higher than Truex that last time through turns 3 and 4, but both again primarily in the middle lane. Ross Chastain ran the outside all the way near the wall through 3 and 4. Will carry a bit more speed than both of them on the front stretch. And again, Chastain going all the way to the outside in turns 1 and 2. Truex down to the bottom. Tried to take his first look to the inside of the 18, but couldn't get there. Busch again held the middle. So all three of these drivers kind of running different lanes from one another. Trying to get as much clean air on the nose of their car and trying to find speed in the late going. Our only 2 long green flag runs of the day have primarily been in this final stage. Who will make a mistake first, if any? Busch is going to gap Truex that time through turns 1 and 2, and he now has about a car length and a half to a 2-car length lead down the backstretch into turn 3. Busch going to take the line away of the 19 now. He goes all the way down to the apron, or onto the white line near the apron, just like Truex has been running the last couple laps. Chastain 1 second off the race lead as he was a bit slower than both the 2 cars in front of him that last time by. Mary Barber, welcome. Austin Cindric or Dillon? Cindric is 24th. And I'm not sure where Austin Dillon's at. Austin Dillon's 17th. Truex is not going anywhere. He slipped up that little bit a couple laps ago. But quickly, again in the draft, through the tri-oval, closes on Busch. Busch back to the middle. He does not take Truex's line away that time. Truex hooks the bottom well, slides up the track right in line behind Busch. Not close enough to side draft yet. Again, down to the bottom goes Truex. Kyle Busch near the wall on the outside, getting aggressive with the line. Off the exit of turn 4, side by side for the lead. 15 laps to go at Vegas. Truex did not side draft Kyle Busch through the tri-oval that time. Busch will pull clear into turn 1. Stays off the wall that time. They'll go to the middle as Truex again rounds the bottom. Chastain losing time on the top 2, but if they battle enough, he might have a shot still. Busch again near the wall on the outside. Truex again on the bottom near the white line. Busch nearly in the wall, trying to search for every sort of speed, using every bit of asphalt he can. What a battle between these two Joe Gibbs Racing teammates. As things have heated up late. Meanwhile, on the Larson watch, he has now cracked the top 10 after having to restart at the rear of the field with a pit road speeding penalty, in which he was in 5th place before the green flag pit stops leading to that penalty. Jones is up to 8th as well, moving forward and working on Stenhouse for 7th. Truex didn't go all the way to the white line that time through turns 1 and 2. He went to the middle. Busch went to the top. Big run for Truex on the backstretch. Busch might have had to lift off turn 2. Truex now goes down to the bottom. He's going to try a slide job off the exit of turn 4. Busch with a run on the outside. He's going to try a crossover off the exit of turn 4. Truex will not lead that lap of the line. Busch will cross over Truex down to the apron and clear into turn 1. Beautiful crossover. Now Busch to the bottom. Truex to the middle. And Truex is coming right back after the 18. But he can't get alongside of him this time. Kyle Busch again to the outside. Truex to the middle in turns 3 and 4. More lap traffic coming in front of both the leaders. Kyle Busch trying to draft off the back bumper of Cody Ware before pulling back out of line to make the pass on him. Busch slips in turns 1 and 2. In the middle, Truex beats him back to the throttle. And whatever amount of time he lost in 3 and 4, he gains it right back that time. Kyle Busch to the outside. Truex to the inside. Busch very close to the wall again. 10 laps to go at Vegas. Chastain is 2 seconds back, and he is still losing time despite the battle for the lead heating up. Hamrick lap car on the bottom. Truex went to the bottom, but didn't really lose momentum down there. And he stays right with Kyle Busch. Tough to tell who's better right now between the 18 or the 19. Same equipment, both for the same team, same manufacturer. New car. Driver talent's going to dictate the finish of this one, as well as potentially lap traffic. Truex in the middle. Kyle Busch down to the white line on the bottom. Busch slides up in front of the 19. 19 loses the nose a little bit. Ty Dillon is the next lap car in front of the leaders as they both chase their cars down to the inside. Truex goes more towards the middle lane as he washes up the racetrack off the exit of turn 4. Kyle Busch went all the way to the bottom near the white line. Kyle Busch continues to lead with 8 to go. Busch to the outside. Truex to the middle. Lap car of Michael McDowell on the bottom. McDowell will stay low on the backstretch as he'll pull out of the way of both the 19 and the 18. Truex to the middle to upper groove. Kyle Busch near the wall on the outside. And for the third straight week, it's teammates battling for the win late. But it's a different team. Unlike the first 2 weeks, it was Penske at the Daytona 500. It was Hendrick at Auto Club, and now it's Joe Gibbs here at Las Vegas. 288 people watching in the chat down below for the finish. Truex again searching for speed on the bottom through 3 and 4. He gets alongside Busch, but as he pulls up off the exit of turn 4, Busch gets the run on the outside and will hold on in front of him. Truex could not quite get to the corner panel of the 18 to try and side draft. Truex drives it in deep again though through turns 1 and 2. A bit on the gas further into the corner, which allows Busch to again win the race back to the throttle off the exit of turn 2. 5 laps to go this time by. It's Kyle Busch leading. Back to the outside. Martin Truex Jr. to the middle in turns 3 and 4. Both cars running higher in 3 and 4, but lower in 1 and 2. We've seen that most of the day. Interesting to see these drivers work their way through the bumps, work their way through the lap traffic as well. For really the first time all day, we've seen heavy lap traffic. 77 of Josh Bilicki will stay high. He'll go a lap down. Or at least another lap down. Battle for third also increasing. One side-by-side lap traffic in front of him. Ross Chastain and Alex Bowman battle for the third spot. They're now 4 seconds off the lead. Truex and Busch running the fastest laps on the track on a consistent basis right now. Outside of Kyle Larson, who is in 6th place after restarting at the rear of the field on that last restart with about 37 to go. He is still 14 seconds, though, back of the race lead, and he's actually 6 seconds behind the next car for position, which would be his teammate William Byron in 5th. Kyle Busch a little bit faster than Truex each of the last 2 laps. Truex is now about 0.3 of a second behind Busch. Oh, trouble! Car hard in the wall up turn 4. Eric Jones, and that will bring out a caution. He's in the grass. And now almost gets cleaned out by Bubba Wallace. Wallace has locked the tires down. He's hard into the inside retaining wall into turn 1. A delayed caution. And Bubba Wallace had to spin to miss drilling the 43 of Eric Jones, who spun across the racetrack in front of him. Caution is out with 3 laps to go, our 12th of the race. And this will force an overtime restart for the 2nd time this season. And the 3rd time we are going to see a restart with 4 or less laps to go in the race. Eric Jones just got a little sideways off the exit of turn 4, overcorrected into the outside wall. He was running in 8th place and was battling Reddick for 7th on the inside of him. And when he overcorrected and started to slide back down into the grass, he overcorrected again, and maybe the car grabbed back to the right. Wallace missed Jones when he was when Jones slid back across the racetrack, but unfortunately in the midst of trying to miss the 43, he lost control down into the inside retaining wall. The pace car was actually going to pull onto the racetrack as Wallace was spinning down into turn 1. And luckily the pace car parked when he did, or he could have gotten cleaned out by Wallace. That would have been a dangerous situation. Heavy damage to the right front now of Wallace's race car as well, as the right front tire has come apart. And that will be an interesting decision of whether you pit or not. This is the same situation we basically saw back in 2020 where we had a caution with 2 laps to go on a long green flag run, and Ryan Blaney and Alex Bowman ended up hitting pit road, giving up the lead on the restart. Everybody else stayed out. Both of those drivers finished outside the top 8 that day. Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., same situation here. They were 4 seconds plus ahead of the rest of the field, battling for the win amongst themselves. Caution with 3 to go on a long green flag run. Who will pit and who will stay out? 313 people watching the stream. Like it, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. 91 likes on the stream right now as we are headed to overtime in the Pennzoil 400 at Las Vegas. Annabelle Castre, welcome to the stream. Tamara St. George, welcome. Elvis Romeo Vale, welcome. PP, welcome. Use more real voice. This is my real voice. David Jones, welcome. Mirage Goyle, welcome. What a comeback for Busch, indeed. Lucky. It's like Chucky Alarm, sorry. Blooper ass 69. Pit stops now, and it looks like most of the field will pit. See if anybody takes 2 tires. It looks like Alex Bowman might have just went with 2 tires only on his stop. Kyle Larson comes out of the pits with 2 tires as well. Larson will win the race out of the pits. Bowman second, Byron third. Kyle Busch fourth, Ross Chastain the top 5. The top 3 are Hendrick Chevys, and they all took 2 tires. Larson, then Bowman, then Byron. And then everybody from 4th on back of Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain, Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott, and others, they will have 4 tires. Oh boy. Tyler Reddick as well on 4 tires. What a crazy finish this is about to be. Raymond Elmore, welcome. Wesley Sims. We have 347 people watching. ClearDog 23. What's the cause of the yellow? The 43 of Eric Jones had gotten sideways off the exit of turn 4 mid-slide. He overcorrected hard into the outside wall. Just pancaked the right front of that race car. And then he ended up spinning down into the grass on the inside, overcorrecting back across the racetrack. Wallace, while the race was still green flag when Jones was down in the grass, then went to yellow as he started to come back up the track. So cars were still going full speed, and Bubba Wallace nearly cleaned out the 43 car. Did a great job missing him, but in doing so, he lost control, slammed the inside wall head on. So those were the 2 drivers involved in that last accident. Caution again, number 12, forcing an overtime restart in the Pennzoil 400 at Las Vegas. Kyle Larson will lead on the restart. He had a pit road speeding penalty under the second to last stop of the day, which looked like it was going to be the last stop until that caution with 3 to go. He got up to 6th place before the yellow, but now he's only got 2 tires. There are large chunks of rubber on the inside of the racetrack, I believe from the 23 of Bubba Wallace, his right front tire, when he tried to work his way back around the racetrack, and I would have to imagine the sweeper truck's going to have to come through and pick most of that up before they go green. There's a lot of debris back there still. So the calm before the storm that is the restart. This is the second most amount of people I've ever had watching a stream. Our record is about 360 back at Talladega in the fall race last year with the live commentary for that rain race that was ran on a Monday. That was a rain-shortened race, unfortunately. We were unable to see the huge numbers in the stream, but definitely like and subscribe. We do these streams on a regular basis. We'll be doing it again next weekend at at Phoenix on Sunday for the Cup race. You guys know the rules to NASCAR overtime, but I will explain them once again. 2 laps, green, then white, then checker. If the leader takes the white flag, the next flag will end the race, whether it would be the yellow or the checker. If the caution comes out before the leaders take the white flag, we'll do it all over again. Unlimited attempts until we at least get to the white flag. Piece of tape flapping on the front of the 5 of Kyle Larson. Actually, it's not the tape. It actually looks like the cover of the Camaro sign, so part of the skin wrap is coming apart on the 5 of Larson. I'm not sure if that's going to affect him aerodynamically or not. You have to assume it's going to make some sort of a difference. Remember, Kyle Busch is the first car on 4 tires. The top 3 Hendrick cars of Larson, Bowman, Byron on 2 fresh right side tires, but old left side tires. We went green originally off the last restart with exactly... Well, not sure exactly when we went green. The caution came out with 47 laps left, so we would have went green right around 40 to go. So those left side tires are about 40 laps old on Larson and Bowman. The only driver today on old tires that was able to actually hold on to the top 10 on a restart was Kyle Busch. He only had about 10 lap fresher tires or older tires at the time of him restarting up at the front. These guys have 40 lap old left side tires. 390, that's a stream record, guys. I can't believe it. Timothy Roberts, bad player. Scotland X. Welcome to the stream as well. 390 people. That's a new stream record. For the most amount of people ever watching one of my streams, so I greatly appreciate it. We hit our goal for the likes on the stream at 109, but definitely hit that like button down below, and we'll be commentating the rest of this race here as we head to the overtime restart. Just still cleaning up debris on the backstretch. Larson and Elliott made contact last week in a battle late for the win, though Elliott is going to be lining up 9th on the restart. He was the only Hendrick Chevy that took 4 tires under that stop instead of 2. First driver since Tony Stewart to win 5 of the last 7 races in 2005. That would include, obviously, the first 2 races this year and then the last 5 races last season. I should say it would be the first 3 races this year and the last 4 races last season if Larson wins today. He was my pick to win this race today, so maybe I'll get my first win prediction correct this season. He's been in the top 10 pretty much all day except for that pit road speeding penalty. 1 to go this time by Larson to the outside. Bowman to the bottom. Kyle Busch to the bottom. Chastain to the bottom. Truex to the top. Reddick on the bottom. Then Almirola on the top. Bell bottom. Elliott top through the first 5 rows. Kyle Larson is the first driver all day long to choose the outside for the restart that was the leader heading to the restart. Nobody has restarted willingly on the outside when they've had the choice of top or bottom on the front row yet. Until Larson right now, and that is very interesting. He does have his teammate William Byron behind him, but Byron, remember, has 2 old left side tires, so you got to be thinking that a wheel spin could potentially happen here for these drivers on old tires. Kyle Busch might be in the best spot. He is inside row 2 on 4 fresh Goodyears, and then everybody from then on back, from row 3 on back, is on 4 fresh tires as well. They are going through turns 3 and 4 right now at caution speed. They will be going green this time by. Here we go. Pace car will make the big left-handed turn onto pit road. Kyle Larson will lead the field into the Geico restart zone. Overtime in the Pennzoil 400 at Las Vegas is here. Green flag back in the air. Bowman gets a good launch on the bottom. The outside has not been the lane on the restart yet today, but Byron is pushing Larson as they work their way into 1 and 2. Busch did not make it 3 wide on the bottom, instead pushes the 48 for the meantime, and through turns 1 and 2, it is side-by-side for the lead between Bowman and Larson. Dead even. Busch still on the inside of Byron into turn 3 for second as well. He can't clear him off the exit of turn 4 yet. Larson has the grip on the outside. Bowman slides wide, nearly pinching Larson into the wall off turn 4. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go as Bowman led that last lap at the line. Bowman on the inside, Larson on the outside. Busch is finally cleared. Byron, no, not quite. Byron charges back on the outside again as they nearly make contact behind the leaders. Side by side, half a lap to go. 3/4 of a mile. Will it be Bowman or Larson? Larson pitches the 48 on the bottom. Bowman wins the race back to the gas off of turn 4. Bowman is clear. Larson with the cut to the bottom. He won't get it. Alex Bowman wins at Las Vegas. Alex Bowman is your winner of the Pennzoil 400 at Las Vegas, beating Kyle Larson off of turn 4 in overtime. Third different winner in the first 3 races this season, back-to-back for Hendrick Motorsports in a 1-2 finish. Ross Chastain finishes in 3rd, Larson 2nd, Kyle Busch 4th, Byron fell back to 5th, Almirola 6th, Reddick 7th, Truex 8th, Elliott 9th, and Christopher Bell will round out the top 10. Austin Dillon 11th, Kevin Harvick 12th, Kurt Busch 13th, Joey Logano 14th, Corey LaJoie 15th, Harrison Burton 16th, Justin Haley 17th, Chris Buescher 18th, Austin Cindric 19th, Ty Dillon rounds out the top 20. Stenhouse 21st, Hamrick 22nd, Gilliland 23rd, Keselowski 24th, Bubba Wallace 25th, Cody Ware 26th, Michael McDowell 27th, BJ McLeod 28th, Josh Bilicki 29th, Garrett Smithley rounds out the top 30. Eric Jones, who wrecked late, 31st. Denny Hamlin, transaxle issue, finished 32nd. Cole Custer 33rd. Greg Biffle 34th. Chase Briscoe 35th. Ryan Blaney 36th. And Daniel Suarez will round out the field today. You'll hear from race winner Alex Bowman here very shortly when they get to the front stretch interview. And we will have a post-race show with more driver interviews and my post-race analysis for a live stream coming up in a matter of moments. But first, you will hear from Alex Bowman. Bowman won stage 1, had a fast car early, didn't really have the track position until late when he took the 2 tires along with some of his Hendrick teammates. And he beat Kyle Larson. He had the preferred line on the restart, but Larson gave it to him. Here's Jamie Little with Alex Bowman.
Strategy to take right sides to finish your day right here. Up against your teammate, Kyle Larson, by the way.
Yeah, I just can't thank Ally and Chevrolet, everybody from Hendrick Motorsports enough. This thing was so fast all day. Just never really had the track position we needed to show it, but man, what a call by Greg Ives and the guys to take 2 there. Obviously, it paid off. Racing Kyle's always fun. Got to race him for a couple wins, and we've always raced each other super clean and super respectfully. So just can't say enough about these guys. It's been a pretty awful start to the year. So to come out here and get a win on a last restart deal like that's pretty special.
And now Regan Smith standing next to Kyle Busch.
Right today, Kyle. Tough situation on 4 or 2 tires at the end of the race there, but based on where this team was yesterday and the work that had to go into it, has to be a good day nonetheless.
Yeah, true testament to everybody at Joe Gibbs Racing. Really appreciate the
18 guys, my guys, but also the 11, 19, and 20. All them for coming over, pitching in. Everybody had a hand in being able to make this, make us go today. So really appreciate that. And great Ethyl-M chocolates, Toyota Camry TRD today. I mean, was good there, fast at the end, and trying to just do what I could to hold the lead there with Truex, and felt like I inched away finally, and we were coming to the white or something. I don't know what it was, but anyways, wasn't meant to be. Not our day. See you next week.
Thanks, Scott.
An insane finish to what was a crazy race once again for the NASCAR Cup Series. 3 close finishes, all on late race restarts, and it was setting up to be a close finish even without the restart today, and a battle between Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr., but neither of which were able to go to victory lane with a late caution with just 3 laps to go. Ending what was a good day for both Bubba Wallace and Eric Jones, who were both involved in the accident. 2-tire strategy for Bowman, Larson, and Byron on the restart. They were able to hold off the 4-tire drivers with the 4 fresh tires, I should say, behind them. And I think with Bowman and Larson staying side by side the way they did for the pretty much entirety of the final 2 laps, that was allowing those drivers on 4 tires behind them nowhere to go to be able to get a run and break away. Dude, you should take over for Danica Patrick. I appreciate it. I'd love to. These streams are all in the hopes of one day getting into the commentating booth down the road, whether it is during the week with the video games doing live realistic commentary or the races during the week. So like, share, but most importantly, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content on the channel. We do this, again, here every day. Post-race analysis live stream will be coming up very shortly. As soon as I can get the thumbnail and as soon as I get that stream up and running, we will. We'll talk all things the finish of this race. We'll talk about the predictions I had going into the race, how they fared, and we'll take a look at the fantasy team as well. Appreciate the support as always. We had a stream record. I didn't see exactly how many people we had watching, but I know we had well over 400 there at the end of the race. So again, I appreciate it. You guys knocked it out of the park today with the viewership. And I was not expecting to break a stream record today, to say the least, but we did. And I'm greatly appreciative of it, and I'm greatly appreciative of all of you guys on a regular basis as well. So again, like, subscribe on your way out tonight. Post-race analysis coming up, and that'll wrap things up for our Sunday's coverage of the Pennzoil 400 at Las Vegas. Again, that stream will be starting here in a couple of minutes. Thank you, everybody, for watching. For those of you that I will not see in the post-race analysis video, I'll see you next week when we'll be doing live commentary at Phoenix for the Cup Series next weekend. For more, I will see you guys next time, and I'll see you guys in a little bit.